Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Catholic Initiative Giving Day. We are coming to you live with an incredible lineup of stories, guests, opportunities to make a difference. Tonight's theme, building faith, hope, and home. And that's exactly what this movement is doing in cities all across America. You'll meet people whose lives have been transformed by faith, by generosity, and the work of the Catholic Initiative. We, of course, are going to introduce you to a bevy of people from the Pulte Family Charitable Foundation. And yes, stay tuned for the giveaways. We've certainly got some of those. You could win an unforgettable trip to one of our humanitarian hotels, Stone Cliff, and, of course, St. John's Resort in Plymouth, Michigan, just by giving tonight. Most importantly, we are here to celebrate how faith in action can change the world, starting in our own backyard. Let me introduce to you as well my co-host for this evening. My name is Ryan Ermanni. Father Mike Schmitz is with us. How are you, Father Mike?
Ryan, I am honored you call me your co-host tonight. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
You're a pro, and I'm just joining. I am an amateur at this, but I'm going to do my best to keep up with you. I'm so grateful to be able to be here right now.
I think you're going to be just fine. I'm the one that needs all the help from you. You are the professional tonight, Father Mike, and I know this is a big night for the Catholic Initiative.
Oh, it's so huge, and I thank you so much. And I also thank you, everyone who's watching this. The Catholic Initiative began with basically one simple belief. The Catholic Initiative began with the belief that our church can be both beautiful and alive again. And so because of that, through the Catholic Initiative, we're restoring sacred spaces, we're renewing schools, we're reawakening communities, places like you'll hear about tonight, St. Anne's Basilica in Detroit, the Josephinum, that's this all-girls academy in Chicago, as well as Bulldog Catholic at the University of Minnesota Duluth, where I'm at. And know this, every gift, if you're joining us tonight, every gift tonight fuels that mission. It's just incredible because you're going to hear stories tonight about people doing amazing things, but tonight is also an opportunity to be part of doing amazing things. We're trying to ensure that these places don't just survive, but that they thrive for generations to come. So my invitation is this: if you're joining us, as we share these stories tonight, I want to invite you to see your own role in this movement, whether that's giving or praying or spreading the word, telling people about this. Together, what we're doing, Ryan, tonight is we're building faith, we're building hope, and we're building home.
There's no doubt about that, Father Mike, and we encourage everybody to donate. You see the scroll at the bottom of your screen. There's a couple of different ways to do that. You can text RESTORE 2025 to 53555, or, of course, just the catholicinitiative.org on the website. You can donate in that way as well. And again, we are doing so much great work in vibrant but underserved faith communities all over the country. Right now, Father Mike, I would like to bring in Nancy Pulte-Rickard. And Nancy, thanks so much for joining us. Your father, Bill Pulte.
All of a sudden, no.
Hello, Nancy.
Can you hear him?
Well, we'll put Nancy on hold, and we will just take it from here, Father Mike. But
yeah, absolutely.
You know, this family, Mr. Bill Pulte specifically, started this charity and wanted to be such a factor and a force in doing so much good with the Catholic faith and the Catholic Initiative. Talk about your experience, Father Mike, with the Pulte Family Charitable Foundation and what you know about Bill Pulte.
Oh, yeah. So my experience, I unfortunately was never ever able to meet Bill, but I have met his kids. I've met, of course, Nancy, met Mark, and some other kids. And one of the things that has always struck me has been that the DNA, not just the physical DNA of Bill Pulte, but that DNA of giving, of generosity, of even what we would call self-sacrificial giving. Hopefully, if Nancy can join us in a bit after the technical difficulties, to be able to talk about even that, the depth to which, I think sometimes when there's abundance, we think that, oh, people are just giving from abundance. And then we hear about that widow's mite and realize that actually Bill Pulte and his family and the Family Foundation has given sacrificially as well, which is just remarkable the way that they have served, the way that they have not just served the local community in Michigan, but throughout the country and actually throughout the world.
And it looks like we have Nancy back. Nancy, can you hear us now?
I can, and thanks for those kind words, Father Mike. Wow, you made it sound like a stellar family there.
Well, you know better than anybody, Nancy. Your father not only built a business, but his generosity has meant so much to so many people. You want to talk about impact. That word has been a force in Bill Pulte and your family's charitable foundation.
Well, thank you for recognizing that. Yes. I think when Bill had formed the foundation, he really had no desire to have it go on in perpetuity. And with a little bit of coaxing and convincing, we did convince him to do that. And I think we're seeing the fruits of that. And I want to tell you that Bill, or for our audience, Bill was a daily communicant for over 60 years. So I think, and he would be in his mid 90s now, maybe 94. Anyway, so he was from a different generation. He was I think as he grew in his spirituality, he really understood. He did not hold things. He wasn't attached to things at all. And he felt that too much is who has been given, much is expected. And I think he also believed very much in faith without action is dead. Yes. So
that's powerful.
I think as he matured in his spirituality, and in the gifts of the Holy Spirit, one being knowledge that, all the stuff around us doesn't matter. And the eternal values of life, it really doesn't matter. And I think Bill got that to his core. I do.
Nancy, you said you weren't sure that he knew that this would go on, all of this giving would go on after he wasn't here anymore. What do you want people to know about the Pulte Family Charitable Foundation and what has become a force in giving?
Well, I think we too hold to the values of our Christian Catholic faith. And to those two that I just said to you, much is given, much is expected. And that faith, I very much believe that faith without action is dead. I've never understood. I just have never understood people who say, "Oh, I've been saved. I don't need to do anything. I've been saved." Well, in my opinion, there's a little more to it. So, what do I want people to know? I want people to know that it will continue on. I think that you honor God, God will honor you, and I really believe that the way my dad lived his life, what he did, way too long to describe in this conversation, but what he did for people, he really honored God. And God didn't honor, when he died, he was a billionaire. And when he died, he wasn't a billionaire any longer because of the 2008 crash. And then he sold a lot of stock so that he could help other organizations just stay afloat, philanthropic organizations stay afloat. And I would remember saying to Mark, you watch, upon Dad's death, he will honor Dad. It's not going to be in Dad's lifetime. It's going to be upon his death. And it has. And God has honored Dad. So, yeah.
So incredible. And again, this is Giving Day for the Catholic Initiative, which is investing in vibrant but underserved faith communities all over the country. And we encourage you to donate right now. You can text RESTORE 2025 to 53555. Or, of course, you can donate on the website itself, thecatholicinitiative.org. Many people admire the foundation's ability to take on these projects, Nancy, both ambitious and are deeply personal. Can you speak to those principles of that work?
Well, again, I think it comes back to our faith principles, all of us, Karen, my dad's widow, Mark, myself, and our whole entire family, and the teams that we've created. They're all very mission driven. They're not all Catholic by any means, but they're all very much mission given or mission driven. And I think that if not us, who? Who's going to do this stuff? And we are not a for-profit. We are a non-for-profit. And so we can take the lead in some of these things that we are taking the lead in, such as in home housing for intellectual, developmentally disabled people, the workforce housing in Immokalee that we're doing, and the Catholic Initiative. I mean, again, who's going to do this if someone doesn't take the lead? Because it's not going to be the government anymore. It's going to be all of us. That means it's going to be private foundations, public foundations, government, corporations. You just keep adding on. It's going to take everybody to do these projects. We're just leading some of them.
Nancy, one of the things that I admire about your family, about the charitable foundation, is you're not trying to put a Band-Aid on a huge wound. You are trying to look for long-term sustainable fixes, not short-term fixes. And these are things that can last. The projects that you take on are immeasurable for so many people, but you all take them on head on. Can you speak to that part of the foundation?
Well, we were crazy.
Hey, somebody's got
you don't know what you don't know, right? You just think, oh my gosh, I can take this on, and then you get into it and you go, oh, what am I doing? No. So your question was
just about the sustainability of what you guys do. It's not, you're not looking to put a Band-Aid on anything or a short-term fix. These are long-term projects that live on for generations that you're trying to undertake.
Yes, that is true. And I think you drive through a lot of towns in America and you see youth centers or boys and girls clubs that were started. Maybe somebody put up the money, but they didn't really think beyond putting up the money. And today you see them and they're in very much disrepair. And so I think we've learned from that. I've seen enough of those just being in different cities in America. And you realize that, geez, it was a great intention. It was a great vision. But if you don't follow that vision through with making sure that it is sustainable, what's going to happen is you're going to get a big building that's not being used because nobody helped keep it sustainable. So we're not afraid to do that. And again, I think people want to give for different reasons. Some people really want to give to an endowment. Some people want to give to the build. Some people don't want to give to the build. So you got to find the right people to come alongside of you in whatever area they want to give in.
Well, if I can jump in here quick, Nancy, it seems to me that one of the ways you mentioned that the Pulte Family Charitable Foundation and Catholic Initiative is really leading the way, like Ryan said, is as you said, is saying actually, if not us, who? And that, but you're also seems to be leading the way when it comes to that sustainability mindset, where I think a lot of times we just say, hey, this is the immediate need, and let's address it as best we can. But it seems like the foundation is also very, very interested, like you just said, in not just leading the way in addressing needs, but leading the way in here is a proposal for how we can actually move forward in a way that we haven't really intentionally moved forward with, as you mentioned, with sustainability and that sense of endowment and that sense of giving a long-term, immediate investment for a long-term gain. Is that accurate?
Yes, very accurate.
That's amazing.
But I don't think that one part is more important than the other. And I've really learned that. If you don't have the back of the house, you can't have the front of the house. And if you don't have, and if you also don't have the sustainability, it's not going to go on. It's just going to become, it's just going to go away or become in such disrepair, whatever it is. So I don't think one is more important. They're all, to me, I'm speaking for myself. They're all equally important components. Yes.
It's incredible work. And Father Mike, I mean, I'm sure I can imagine you being, on the ground and seeing what this money and what this foundation does for people, the everyday people whose lives are impacted by this charitable foundation is pretty incredible, I would imagine.
Oh, from my experience, it's been remarkable. I mean, even just being able to visit places like St. John's and
Yeah.
see, here is this. We'll hear about that in a second, but here is this incredible opportunity to reimagine what a hotel, what a resort could be, in a way that doesn't just make money, but makes money that serves the community. And there's this massive. It goes back to this generosity, and as Nancy said, if not us, who's going to do this? And that sense of, we have the Called podcast, and on the Called podcast, we talk to people who are doing their best to be the hands and feet, the face and the heart of Jesus in this world, like the Pulte Family Foundation. And one of the things that people have said, we ask them a question. They say, what is a way that anyone can do this, can be the hands and feet of Jesus in the world? And they almost all have said something along the lines of, make yourself available. just make it. And that's what the Pulte Family Foundation has been. It's just, here is this. We're available. We're going to do what we can, because again, I want to keep quoting Nancy, that if not us, who? And that's just so powerful.
No doubt about it. Nancy, thank you so much for your time tonight. Thank you so much for what you do, the legacy that you carry on, and the word that you continue to spread. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you doing this too, very much.
Absolutely. Nancy Pulte Rickard, the daughter of Bill Pulte, and I think the perfect messenger for what the Pulte Family Charitable Foundation represents. There's no doubt about it. And that connectivity, that family, Father Mike, I mean, it's pretty cool, for lack of a better way to say it, is it not?
Right. Well, it is. And okay, so I remember the two beliefs, right? The core beliefs. One was faith without action is dead. What was the first one she had said again? Because it was so important to remember both of them, and I don't know why my brain is not recalling. But
faith in action is dead, and if not
faith
us,
without action,
then who?
That was it. Those are the two. I wanted to make sure I had them. So yeah, if not us, then who? And that's that sense. And faith without action is dead. And that's from James, the letter of James in the New Testament, where there's that sense of, I can have all of the beliefs I want. I can have all of the creed. I can have that lined up right. I can even take that time to pray, which we all need. We all need both of those things. We need the prayer. We need the creed. All those. But I mean, I've heard people say this. If you want to know what someone really believes, don't ask them and let them tell you. Watch them, and they will show you. And there's something about that's the test for so many of us, isn't it? Where that's like, okay, I can tell you exactly what I believe.
Right.
But if you want to know what I really believe, where my heart really is, it's like, watch me, and you'll see what, for better or for worse. and so I love that.
Yeah, no doubt. And we have seen what the Pulte Family Charitable Foundation has done. They have shown us. Let's bring in Kevin Doyle, the Chief Operating Officer of the Pulte Family Charitable Foundation. Kevin, thanks so much for the time. What an incredible night. Incredible to be with you, sir.
Ryan and Father Mike, it is so good to be here with you. It's so good to see your smiling face again, Ryan. I know it's been a little while.
Well, we were at the St. John's Resort there for the Live Golf, and what a night that was, what a week that was. But again, a perfect showcase of what this charitable foundation can do and bring events and things like that to the city and the places and the spaces it represents.
Yeah, well, thank you. I think that was a great event. This is a great event. It's going to be a great evening. I'm looking forward to spending a lot of time with you here tonight.
All right, so this is Giving Day for the Catholic Initiative. For those of you who may not know what the Catholic Initiative is, perhaps this is the first time you're ever hearing it. Kevin, share with our audience, what is the Catholic Initiative?
So I'll build off of what Nancy, who was just on, Nancy Rickard, our foundation president, just talked about when she spoke about her father, Bill. The Catholic Initiative was born out of Bill's heart and Bill's legacy, because he was someone that gave hundreds of millions of dollars over the course of his life, almost always silently, to the Catholic faith, Catholic education, Catholic schools, particularly in the Metro Detroit area. And he was the guy that the diocese called when something broke. He's going to send the check to fix it, right? What we say is we wanted to carry on that legacy, and we wanted to carry on the spirit because it is so important to us. But Bill also fixed a lot of cracks for parishes and schools that are not still open, and sustainability and the long-term viability of the things that we support was very important to us. And so the Catholic Initiative was our way, our effort to invest in flourishing, and particularly in under-resourced parishes and schools that are vibrant, but to ensure that they are going to stay vibrant forever. So that's the there's that's the super high level version of it. I think the other thing I would share with you is as we started looking at how can we best make an impact, the numbers aren't news. The numbers are out there. There's 2,000 Catholic schools have closed. 2,600 Catholic parishes have closed in the last 30 years. And sometimes they've closed for reasons that just, it's the times. And if you got 30 people going to a parish, it probably isn't worth the money to keep that one open. But too often the ones that are closing are ones that are serving the poor and serving communities that are vibrant in their faith. They just aren't vibrant in their pocketbooks. And so those are the ones that we wanted to choose to stand with. And the Catholic Initiative was our effort, our solution to try to not just fix some cracks, but to ensure that the foundation for those communities is there forever.
That's a really interesting point. You say those numbers, I get chills because I went to a Catholic grade school that closed down, and that was one of the saddest days that I can remember when I heard that school was closing. And even here in Metro Detroit, where I am, we're in Detroit, Michigan right now, where I am, there is a consolidation, and we feel like we are losing our churches and schools. We need more churches, not less. Right. But the distinction that you make, Kevin, about, look, if there's 30 people that are showing up to a parish, that it probably is just the times, but it's the ones that do have butts in the pews. It's ones that are, do have kids that want to go to the school. We've got to do whatever we've got to do to keep those opportunities, to keep that faith continuing to go for generations and generations. If they need some cash, that's why we are here tonight.
That's right. And one of the things we realized is just the model needs to change. We've got we have modern age problems that require modern age solutions. And we can't just keep, Father Mike likes to say this, so I'm stealing your line before you get to say it, but if you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting, some version of that, right? And so the Catholic Initiative started with a typical request in Detroit, actually, with St. Anne's Basilica of, would the Pulte Family Foundation be willing to support the restoration of St. Anne's? And Mark Pulte, who couldn't be here tonight, but says it's one of the 2 times in his life he felt like the Holy Spirit just took over as he just started telling the Archbishop, I think I can help, but I will not do it under the current model. I think the model is broken. And many conversations later, we got to where we are. But he said, this has to change, and there has to be sustainability in it. We have to get people in the, we talk about pews, in the right part of the pew that they need to be in, or the right seat on the bus, right? Like a pastor like Father Mike should not be spending all of his time fundraising. He should spend his time being a pastor. And a lay organization like ours can take some of those responsibilities on behalf of the pastor. And we can do some things structurally, which is what we've done with the Catholic Initiative, to protect the assets, to protect the resources, and ensure that the people that want to support the faith and want to support these thriving parishes and communities can be comfortable that that their money is going where they want it to go.
Father Mike, I want to bring you into this conversation because Kevin said something that really struck a chord with me. It's, pastors, priests, monsignors should go spread the word. They shouldn't have to be constant fundraisers. It's almost like fundraiser number 1, spreading the word of the faith number 2 in so many of these instances. What does it mean to you to hear that?
Well, yeah, I mean, and that is one of the reasons why one of the many reasons why I am so invested in the Catholic Initiative as well, is because and Kevin said this, he articulated it so well, that there are places that, yep, it's just the time they should get closed down. There's other places that are growing, they're vibrant, there's fruit. And yet, I encountered a parish down in Texas, and the parish in Texas has this great building plan. They have this renovation of a social hall and a education center, and it's amazing, and it's expensive, but they live in an environment where they have that money there. That money is in the community, and so it's going to take some sacrificial giving on the part of those parishioners, but they have the means. There are places like there are places like St. Anne's in Detroit that they're thriving. There's life, and it's incredible. You hear about that later on today, but they don't have the means. And so there's that sense of, how can I be part of that? Again, in your people's home parishes, there might be some people call them like the suburban parish, right? Where it's we're working well, and we're doing good work here, and it's growing. We can take care of ourselves. But we're always looking for, who are the people that are forgotten? Like, who are the people that they're forgotten, and they're the poorest of the poor, the ones who need us the most. But also, I think the Catholic Initiative is so wise in the sense of saying, not only do they need, but they actually, again, we're looking to where are the bright spots in this country and in the church, because there are so many of them. We have to make sure that those bright spots don't go out. And one of the ways they can go out is, like you said, where the pastor doesn't get to be a pastor. He gets to be the chief fundraiser, and that's he should be selling something, and it should be the gospel, not the building project.
Yeah, CGO, Chief Gospel Officer, out of the CFO, right? This is Giving Day for the Catholic Initiative, which is investing in vibrant faith but underserved communities all over the country. And one of the things that Nancy Pulte-Rickard had said, Kevin, was she kept using the buzzwords of faith and action, and the combination of those two, and you can't have one without the other. Can you speak to how this initiative really grew out of Bill Pulte's vision of those two words, faith and action?
Yeah, and Nancy mentioned Bill was a daily communicant for 6 years. His faith was very deep, right? And he knew that through prayer, through the mission of the church, this world will be a better place. And so it's our call as the stewards of the gifts that he's left the Pulte Family Foundation to ensure that we are supporting that going forward. On the action front, I mean, Bill was one of the most successful entrepreneurs of his time. He was an embodiment of the American dream, of someone who didn't go to college and started and built his first home, and then turned it into a company, and then turned it into billions of dollars. And as Nancy mentioned, didn't die a billionaire because he gave so much of it away during his life. But
that's incredible, by the way. I mean, that's incredible, right?
Yeah. One of my favorites. I'll take a quick tangent on that, on just the selfless giving, because I think that's also part of this. But like she mentioned, the housing crisis. He lost a lot of money during the housing crisis. The Pulte home stock went to almost nothing, and he was taking out loans so that he could support people who had businesses that were going to close, or commitments that he made that he didn't have the money for. That was the sort of, I guess, giver that Bill was. So we try to carry that spirit through everything that we do, but we also try to carry the entrepreneurial mindset too. And he was a risk taker, and he took action, and so we try to give with our gifts of our financial gifts that we have, but also the gifts of talent that we have, our capabilities, our skills, and our ability to convene and to bring people together. And we can't do the Catholic Initiative and its mission all on our own. I mean, the Pulte Family Foundation can support a few communities, but our thesis here is that if we are pioneering a new model that is supporting vibrant but under-resourced communities, other people will join alongside of us, whether it's other foundations, whether it's other governmental entities in certain cases, whether it's other corporations, other philanthropic donors. People will join alongside of us because they see that this is a path forward, and a path to make someone like Father Mike the chief gospel officer, not the chief fundraising officer. That's what we all want. That's, the people that look on their faith fondly and look at the impact that the church has had on them. They're thinking of people like Father Mike. They're not thinking of people like, the development guy that they raise money for. So we need to get more Father Mikes and have them more capacity for Father Mike to be Father Mike.
Without question. Kevin, Father Mike, don't go anywhere. Sit tight because right now we want to play a short video for you. This is the Catholic Initiative Giving Day. How did we get here? Bill Pulte's vision to the birth of the Catholic Initiative. We'd like to play that for you right now.
The Catholic Church is a vibrant community.
It's the center of life. It's a place that you can go to for all of the support that you need and to really drive the development of a community hub.
The church is the foundation to the morals and the values to make the world a better place.
But the Catholic Church also faces a lot of challenges in America today. We see the decline in church participation, and Catholic parishes and schools, they're closing at record rates. That trend is going to continue unless something changes.
These are issues that dioceses across all the United States are dealing with.
The model that the Catholic Church has been using was useful for the past many decades, but it has to change. Why not attempt to create a sustainability model for our Catholic churches, schools, and parishes, which would sustain them through perpetuity?
That's where the Catholic Initiative steps in. The crux of the Catholic Initiative is setting up not just a building that will live on beyond us, but a system that will live on beyond us. We see it for us as an opportunity to help transform the future of the faith by pioneering a new model and changing the way that we can invest in and sustain these sacred places forever.
One of the goals of the Catholic Initiative is to reinvigorate our Catholic schools.
What letter says
The Catholic school model is a guiding process. The greatest gift we can give our kids is help them develop a personal relationship with God.
We believe that Catholic schools drive the holistic development of young people.
So is the light bouncing?
So investing in schools in particular is a good investment.
One common theme amongst all Catholic parishes, Catholic schools, is they are always chasing funds.
A lot of my time has been spent on maintenance and fundraising. That's not exactly what I was ordained for.
If we can provide a new vehicle, a new place for those financial resources and allow them to get back and focus on the thing that they really were called to do.
To help strong faith communities that just don't have the resources to survive.
What excites me about the Catholic Initiative is that it relieves us of a tremendous burden.
Our goal is threefold. It's restoring the physical space, it's endowing it to ensure that it's sustainable for the future, and it's setting it up to really be a community hub for the communities that they serve.
Knowing what I know about the Catholic faith, knowing what I know about construction, I thought it would be a great opportunity to start with St. Anne's.
I met with Mark Pulte, and Mark said, I think I can help you.
St. Anne's is really the perfect starting point for the Catholic Initiative. It's the second oldest parish in the country, so it's a place with great historical significance.
St. Anne's has always been part of the history of Detroit. This parish was founded in 1701, and this current church was built in 1886.
The ceiling was magnificent. The building evoked incredible beauty.
It has strong bones, and it's really withstood the test of time in a lot of ways, but it's been deteriorating for several decades.
It's my considered opinion that without this initiative, the Basilica would come to ruin.
But it's more than a building. It's what happens in the building.
This church plays two roles. It plays the role as the place where we come to worship, but it also plays such an important social role in supporting the community.
Many Catholics are looking for authentic community, a vibrant community. They don't go to church because they sense an obligation. They come because they want to have a personal experience with the divine, with the spiritual. And this church does that.
I feel like it's a really small town within a larger city.
As Detroit comes back and you have old buildings being restored for economic purposes, which is great, but we're restoring something that brings people to the eternal, which is way beyond an economic benefit.
The Catholic Initiative is an innovative Vatican-approved funding model.
It's important to have the initiative approved by the Vatican just to make sure that we're acting in communion with the laws of the Church.
With St. Anne's, we've created a 200-year lease agreement that ensures for us and it ensures for the Archdiocese that what we create with this partnership will live on for generations and generations.
That deal is ironclad. It's a 200-year lease, and it stays a church. There's nothing that anybody could do to undo that.
What needs to be restored in a word? Everything. It's a 5-phase process that's going to really touch upon every inch of the building. The steeples were phase 1, which we've accomplished, which was fabulous. The next stage is the roof and the HVAC. Following that is going to be the repair of the exterior walls, and then the restoration of the stained glass windows. Then we'll come inside, repair the plaster, and repaint the church, refinish the pews.
You take St. Anne's story, and you could apply it to thousands of churches around the United States. These churches and parishes, their day was not yesterday, it is tomorrow. They just need someone to come in and stand with them.
The Pulte Family Foundation has a long history of helping the church fix its cracks. And it was important to us that we aren't just fixing cracks forever, but we can actually build a new foundation that this could rest on for hundreds of years to come.
The Catholic Initiative is not about real estate. It's about allowing vibrant faith institutions to flourish.
It's a great opportunity to rejuvenate not only the physical aspect about the church, but about the community.
Come aboard with us. Help these underserved and under-resourced parishes, and we'll see you in 200 years. That feels like something great to fight for.
Wow.
That's incredible.
What do you say about that? I mean,
Honestly,
when you talk about a 200-year lease that is ironclad, it's going nowhere. It's just an example of what this Catholic initiative can accomplish.
well, I think if I can step over Kevin for
Please.
just 1 second, I think that there is we were talking with Nancy about here's them leading the way. Here's them showing a new way. I mean, it's called Catholic Initiative because there's this initiative, and the initiative is wait. So you said you'll purchase the church? Like what is happening here? Kevin, would you be able to just even speak? I know the video kind of summed this up, but there's something that the Catholic Initiative is doing that is, I think, is that genuinely new? It seems like it actually is this initiative in the heart of Bill Pulte, that sense of like, we'll take a risk. Why not? Look, why not? Because the church is worth fighting for.
Yeah, in the model, I think there's two things to harp on. One is part of this is just let's get people focused on the right things, right? Like our organization has a pretty good track record in physical restoration of places. And so that's something that we can do. And we've hired some great fundraisers. That's something that they can do. Endowment raises, endowment management, that's something that we can do. The mission of the church, that's something that you should be doing and be allowed to focus on. And so, and we can help that. We can help amplify it. We can help make these places a community hub that supports the entire community and allows the people to be the hands and feet. But that gets people in the right seats on the bus, right? So that's part of the model. The thing that's brand new, and that what I just described is not necessarily a totally innovative thought, although I think you would admit, Father Mike, it isn't done everywhere.
Yeah, I never heard it before.
Yeah, but the the thing that is new, it's the first time in the U.S., and we know there's precedent with Notre Dame in France, but it's the first time in the U.S. that an organization other than the Catholic Church is owning an active parish or basilica. That's the thing that had not been done before, and it's very important to this model for a couple reasons. But one is just from a canon law perspective, the church's mission is the mission, and it's the ministry, and it's bringing people to Christ, and it's creating missionary disciples. It's not to be real estate moguls, right? And so, so that's not that part. Like owning the land is not necessarily important to the church's mission, so as long as the mission is alive and well and it's thriving. But the thing that we found as we got into this is there are a lot of people that want to support that mission, and they want to help restore a place like St. Anne's, or they want to help restore or endow a school like the Joe, but they have seen in the past where they've done that and then the church ends up closing as part of a consolidation process, or they've seen where their money ends up somewhere else, and so there were a lot of people on the fence, and this started with St. Anne's, and there were a lot of people that wanted to support it, but just were on the fence about it just for structural reasons. And we said to ourselves, if a place like St. Anne's, which has incredible history and it's vibrant, it's growing, it's at the heart of downtown Detroit's revitalization, if that place after 5 years can only get 15% of the way to its fundraising goal to restore the second oldest parish in the country, then underserved parishes and schools around this country are screwed. And so we've got to find a way to help that. And we've had early success of articulating that this is why this structure works, because no matter what happens in the future, the diocese doesn't really have an incentive to close this parish as long as people are showing up. And because we did this incredible real estate deal where we gave it right back for $1 a year, and we have no ability to do anything other than just give it back to the parish, like we can't do anything with it either, right? So legally, it is now that lease structure ensures that the mission must go on, and we've done that now in a couple of different places, and it's gotten people interested again in supporting the thing that they wanted to support to begin with, which has been very inspiring for us.
And that's why we're here tonight. This is Giving Day for the Catholic Initiative, investing in vibrant but underserved faith communities all over the country. And ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to announce a big gift. How about $10,000 by Fred Bernard? I want to make sure I say his name right. How about that? Fred Bernardi. $10,000. How about it?
Wow. That's incredible.
That is incredible, is right. Great job, Fred. And that money is going to a great cause, and it will make an enormous impact. But we've got a lot going on tonight, okay?
I will say, Ryan, at $10,000, it's probably $9,500, I think, is the tuition cost at the Josephine Academy of the Sacred Heart. So $10,000 is going to put somebody through school for a year.
And change their life. That changes somebody's life. That is a life-altering donation. There's no other way to look at it. And Fred, thank you so much for that donation. And again, we encourage you, if you're watching this, if you're listening to it on WJR, please donate to this great fund. You can text Restore 2025 to 53555 or donate right here on the CatholicInitiative.org. You could do a donation, make a donation that way as well. We've got a lot going on for you tonight. It is time for our very first Catholic Initiative giveaway, Giving Day giveaway raffle, okay? One lucky donor tonight is going to win an unforgettable trip to one of the most beautiful and one of the most meaningful places in the country, the Inn at Stonecliff on Mackinac Island. And if you've ever been to Mackinac Island, you know there's nowhere like it. No cars, no traffic, just horse-drawn carriages, stunning lake views, the most peaceful setting that you can imagine. And the Inn at Stonecliff is more than just a hotel. It's part of something much bigger. It's one of the Foundation's humanitarian hotels, properties where 100% of the profits go to charity. And Kevin, I know this is a place near and dear to your heart.
It is. It's very near and dear to my heart. We spent a lot of time over the last couple of years taking this from what it was to what it is now. And Father, forgive me for the pride, but it is a spectacular place on Mackinac Island. The core of our humanitarian hotel concept is we want places that are going to be 4 or 5-star experiences. You want to be there no matter what. Like it just has nothing to do with charity. You want to be there because it's great. In addition, we give 100% of the profits away to charity and to homeless shelters and soup kitchens and affordable housing and people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. But then we also live out that mission on those properties. And we do a number of, I think we're going to show a video later, but we do a number of programs and things that improve the lives of the employees that work there, improve the lives of the people in the community, and improve the lives of so many, just make the world a better place. And so Stonecliff is, even if it had nothing to do with charity, it was named last year as one of Time's 100 places you must visit in the world. And so,
let's go.
I think this is a pretty good giveaway.
So someone's going to win this right now.
Someone is going to win this tonight. Yeah.
Somebody's going to win it absolutely today. So here's how it works, okay? Every $25 you donate, you can donate right there at the bottom of your screen. You see you could text, you could go to the website, thecatholicinitiative.org. Every $25 you donate gets you 1 raffle ticket for an incredible getaway, a 3-night stay at the Inn at Stonecliff on beautiful Mackinac Island. If you give a little bit more, your chances go up. For example, a $100 donation gets you 4 tickets. A $250 donation gets you 10 tickets, and so on. Every single time, every gift will automatically enter you to win. And this isn't just any stay. Welcome to Mackinac Island's most refined retreat. Historic charm meets modern luxury. And you're more than just a guest. You're part of a timeless tradition. Immerse yourself in the breathtaking views. Oh, we saw so many of them right there. But here's what the winner will receive. A 3-night stay in the mansion room at the Inn at Stonecliff. A $150 dining credit redeemable at the Straits, the Backyard, or Horsey's Pub. I've been to that Horsey's Pub. Let me tell you, real good. And bike rentals for 2 for a full day to explore the island at your own pace. I mean, so all of that, it could be a $25 donation and you'd win all of that. That's all it'll take. Incredible stuff. It's a chance to unwind, take the beauty of Mackinac Island, and enjoy one of the most iconic properties, all while supporting a great cause. Make that donation of $25 or more, and you are in the running. I know a lot of people that are going to want to win that. So, fellas, let me introduce you to our first Catholic Initiative project, the St. Anne Basilica in Detroit. We have Michael McLaughlin, the Chief Inspiration Officer at the Catholic Initiative. I had a chance to meet Mike back in October. Was it October or August? With August. It was back in August. I get my months mixed up, but I got a chance to meet Michael in August, and what a remarkable man. What a remarkable person. And Father Mike, I know you know him well as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I had the chance to sit down with Michael at St. Anne's, and we talked about what it is to restore St. Anne's, what it is, the significance, and we heard a little bit about that, the significant historical significance, but not just historical significance. We realize this, we know this all throughout Europe. There are a number of churches that are old and beautiful and museums. St. Anne's is 2 of those 3. It is old, it is beautiful, it is not a museum. It's a community hub. It's a place where people from that area, that's the place of worship, that's their place of gathering. And it was an incredible conversation I got to have with Michael. Here's actually a quick snippet of that 45-minute conversation, much shorter. Here's a snippet of that 45-minute. There is a crisis in the church when it comes to thriving ministries that find themselves in a place where the Holy Spirit is moving in a way where there's fruit, but there's not funds.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so here's a fruitful ministry, here's a fruitful engagement. St. Anne's here where we're at right now. The parish itself is vibrant and alive, but they don't have the funds to be able to keep this building alive. How do you see the Catholic Initiative as bridging that gap between here's a fruitful ministry finally getting the funds it needs to keep moving forward?
I liked that fight.
Yeah.
When Mark Pulte approached me last April, and he asked me, would I ever consider leaving Notre Dame? We are launching this, well, whether you want to come aboard or not. But I have had an epiphany in my personal Catholic faith. This is Mark saying it. And then Kevin Doyle, his son-in-law, Notre Dame grad, 4 generations of Notre Dame grads. But Kevin at the same time came to the same position. What is the future of the Catholic Church? I think a lot of people right now look at the church and they either have a personal relationship and they're going to church and they feel good about things, and the stuff around, the noise around, and some of it devastating noise. But we still live our own personal faith and we live out in our daily lives, and we allow that grace to occur, and it's a personal choice. Mm-hmm. So when Mark brought that up to me, he said, this is what I'm singularly interested in. I'm interested in parishes, schools, organizations who have dramatic faith. They have dramatic things going on. They just have no money.
Could you tell us the story of how the Catholic Initiative got involved with St. Anne's?
Sure. It starts with the personal faith of one man, Bill Pulte. The Catholic Initiative didn't come out the door of the Pulte Foundation year one. Incredible impact around the globe. I think Mark came to the table one day and said, I love what we're doing. I think there's a Catholic component that I want to drill down more in. And St. Anne's being in Detroit, where Mr. Pulte was from and Pulte Homes was founded, in his lifetime, he gave, several $100 million to the Archdiocese of Detroit anonymously.
Yeah.
So St. Anne's falls into that amongst all the other things around Detroit. And that's where that connection started from day one and gets us here today, where Mark sort of has picked up that mantle from his dad, and St. Anne's is the centerpiece of it as our first project.
If you said, this is the one thing I want people to know about the work of the Catholic Initiative, mm-hmm. what would you say? Like this is what they need to know.
Come walk with us. Come see what we're doing. Challenge our authenticity. Challenge our mission. I believe more people who do that, they'll see that we're a good investment of their generosity and their financial gifts that they've accumulated to see the impact. Mm-hmm. The impact isn't, being associated with a great philanthropic organization. It's the outcome. It's who's being affected by it. Look at the kid at Bulldog. Look at the young woman at the Joe. Look at all the people here, the first communions, the marriages. That feels like really good impact, that you can see it. We're good at what we do. We know how to steward donors. We know how to say thank you. But that's what I would ask. Just see what we're doing. Just because we're new doesn't mean we're not a mature organization. Yeah. All these ideas are very mature. It's just we're the only one in the world that the Vatican approved to do this. What I want people to think about when they see and they hear us and they're open to the message, I know what we're doing is right. I know that by letting this place stay open, and I hope hundreds over my lifetime, that is generational impact.
Generational impact. Those words as well really strike you as something that really is long lasting. And you talk about 200 years for something like St. Anne's, generations of impact on lives, real people, real lives are affected by all of this. And we have heard about the St. Anne's Project. We want to share with you an interview with Father Mike and a lifelong parishioner, Juliana Bautista, who shares what the project means to the St. Anne's community. Father Mike?
Yeah. So one thing I wanted to say to those who are listening, or those who are watching, actually, I never change. I always wear the same thing. I have this black clerical shirt and apparently this Bulldog Catholic vest. That's what I have. That's what I was wearing during that interview. And I thought, we'll bring it back out. I never change. Juliana is an incredible, as you mentioned, right? She is a lifelong parishioner at St. Anne's. So she was raised there. And she had gone away, like most people do, had come back home. And as she came back home to her own parish, she recognized that the same place that raised her, she now helps others who come there. At St. Anne's, she gave me the number. Maybe it's going to be in this clip. She gave me the number of weddings that they do. And she meets with all these couples. It is many, many couples every single year and brings them in. I mean, imagine so many people who are listening to this or watching this, you've had the experience of planning a wedding. You've had the experience of working with a church, working with a parish. At St. Anne's, you get to work with Juliana, who is, again, someone who's in love with the Lord, in love with St. Anne's, and just wants people to experience what she's experienced. Her life being a lifelong parishioner there, and then seeing how St. Anne's has become this thriving community hub in downtown Detroit. It really fuels, it seems, in my conversation with her, it really seems to fuel all that she does. When she gets up every morning, it's like, we're going to St. Anne's because this is the place where lives are being changed. And I think you'll see that in this interview with her. I also, grew up here. It must be, what is it like to work in the parish that you grew up in?
Yeah, it's very interesting because it is definitely a learning curve. I get to meet a lot of people that I didn't even know were part of the congregation. And I think that being part of the community before I was an employee is a great asset to what I have to do now, like my event coordinating and even like working with future quinceañeras or couples to be married here is a great asset. Yeah.
Could you say a little more about what you do here at St. Anne's?
Sure. So I am the event coordinator for the Basilica. I oversee the marriage prep for all the couples getting married here.
How many is that usually a year?
We have about between 70 to 80 weddings per year.
Every year?
Every year.
70 to 80.
We're very popular with weddings. They love, it's a beautiful church. So they love coming to the Basilica and getting married here, being part of history. I also oversee the booking for quinceañeras, and I am the event coordinator. So Novena to St. Anne's in July is a big event that we do. It's a week's worth of events. It's 10 consecutive days of an event. The different masses throughout the year. Right now, we're getting ready for Day of the Dead celebrations, which is also...
And big is on Sunday.
It's big, yeah. It's on a Sunday this year. We usually create an exhibit in the chapel with the different ofrendas. There's about 14 to 16 ofrendas that are going to be built in the exhibit. People come from all over the place. We host schools in the area, about, I want to say 20 schools, but it averaged out between 1,000 people that come on a 2-day span for tours, all students from all over the metro area.
When it comes to the new project, like the project of restoring St. Anne's, how is the community, do they know about it?
Yeah, people know. We made the announcement, I believe it was in the summer. I forget the exact date, but it was in the summer. And people cried because we made it during Mass on a Sunday. Yeah. So we the staff knew before the Sunday, just so that we knew what info was coming out, right, and what to share with people. Yeah. And then when parishioners found out, I was here for that Mass on purpose because I wanted to be here for it's my community, right? I wanted to support them. And people came up to me and hugged me. People cried. They just couldn't believe, and they're like, it's a miracle. Like, we are so happy that St. Anne's is not going anywhere, and we have it for a longer time.
Well, it's also that sense of having the sense of, okay, if this doesn't happen with the Catholic Initiative, if it doesn't happen, then there's no way forward.
People are so... First, they're very happy, they're thrilled, and they're very anxious to see the process. Yeah. So am I, to be honest. And I think I see it as an awakening of St. Anne, right? Because we became a basilica not too long ago, 2020, and now it's being restored, and new things are going to happen, and building a community hub and offering different services to the community, but also small things like, I don't know, redoing the bathrooms in the church, or having AC.
Which are not that small things when you think about it as a parishioner here. Like, no, this is significant for us.
Yeah. I think people also focus on like the crumbling walls, because it's there's all
when
these
you look
leaks.
around, you can see.
Yeah, all these leaks in the roof, and they're like, this is amazing, because now when I sit on a pew for Sunday Mass, nothing's gonna fall on me.
Have you seen any pictures of what the updated St. Anne's could look like? Have they come up with any of those?
Yeah, there's a sketch. We were given one when the announcement was given. So the layout itself is going to be a little bit different. It's all exterior right now. I think they're still working on the interior design.
I can imagine. It's so beautiful in here as it is.
Yeah.
It just needs that update. Will it change a lot in here, do you think?
No. So the hope is that everything will look the same as you're seeing today. I think they're even restoring.
I was going to say these pews are remarkable in the sense that
they're the original ones.
They're the originals.
And I heard, and I don't know how true this is, but these were handmade in 1886.
What would you say to someone who may never have been to St. Anne's, this historic basilica? Why should I care?
Well, I think it's like you said earlier. So we already have the Holy Spirit moving within the community. We already do the work, so it's not something that is dying down. I do see this as an awakening of St. Anne as in the community, not the church itself, because it's been alive. It's just we do need that help. We do need the funding to restore our roof, to restore our plaza, which is also crumbling, just to make it safer for the people that are already coming here, because it's already a vibrant, alive, active community, right? So I think it would be amazing for anybody to be part of that history, because we are going to make history, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that I really like when I do weddings, we create a certificate for all the couple getting married that day, and we have records dated back to, I think it's 1710. So the parish was established in 1701. But because there was many fires back then,
I guess
some of the records got lost. So the records are dated 1710. So we started a little project with the archivist of the Archdiocese, and we can count how many weddings we've done. So on the day of the wedding, the couples receive a certificate, and it's sort of like their spot in time, and their number of what wedding they are in the history of St. Anne's. So in retrospect, I think that those people who will be part of this restoration project would also have that, spot in the history of the Basilica of St. Anne.
This is an historic church that is the opposite of the museum, right? It's again, those beautiful churches in Europe, incredible. There was a lot of faith at one point.
Yeah.
But now people walk in and tour them. People come here to St. Anne's to worship God.
Yeah.
And that's a key difference, I think.
Yeah.
It's an historic church, but it's not just history, right? It's alive.
Yeah. I mean, people come sometimes for the history, but they stay for Mass. Or the other way around. They come for Mass and stay for the history tour. But yeah, it's very alive. And this is home for me.
Bill Pulte.
All of a sudden, no.
It's incredible.
Hello, Nancy.
Well, hello.
Well, we'll
getting
put
a little
Nancy
bit of
on
feedback.
hold, and we will.
We're getting a little
just
bit of a feedback
take
on
it from here,
that.
Father Mike. But
absolutely.
This.
I think the first hour is on repeat right
Mr.
now.
Bill Pulte specifically started
we are on
this
repeat,
charity
but it's okay. It's good to
and
be together.
wanted to be such a factor
We're
and
gonna
a force
work
in
to,
doing so much good
we're gonna work
with
that
the
out.
Catholic faith and the Catholic Initiative.
We just need a couple
Talk about your
Sounded
experience,
so good the
Father
first
Mike,
time
with
around.
the
We just had to hear
Pulte
it
Family
again.
Charitable Foundation, and what
I
you
like the
know
first
about
time.
Bill
of hearing my own voice.
Yeah, so my experience, I unfortunately was never ever able to meet Bill, but I have met his kids.
We've been on
Nancy
for an
Dupark.
hour already, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. I think we're
Missed
good.
it. Amazing.
Yeah, there we go. Yes, believe it or not, this is hour number 2 of the program
Praise the
here.
Lord.
It is Giving Day for the Catholic Initiative, investing in vibrant but underserved faith communities all over the country. Father Mike, there was a terrific interview, and among the things that Juliana said was about Day of the Dead. Day of the Dead is an event, a celebration, and that is a major holiday that's celebrated in the St. Anne community.
Yeah, it's she mentioned weddings. She mentioned quinceañeras, which is when young girls turn 15 years old. There's a massive celebration, just celebrating them. It's so affirming. Also, as you mentioned, the Day of the Dead, and this last year, leading into the Day of the Dead, it was actually on a Sunday, and so it was kind of extra important. Obviously, the Day of the Dead. Well, if you know this, the Day of the Dead is also known as All Souls Day in the Universal Church. And so it's a day where they set up these, what they call, as Juliana describes, ofrendas. And these are places where here's a photograph of someone. Here is some kind of memorial of them. Like maybe this is a rosary they prayed with, or this is something that was valuable for them. And they bring it into the church, and they have these I think she mentioned, over a dozen ofrendas, and places where we pray for those who have died. We pray for our loved ones. I think one of the pains of our heart when it comes to grief is that the object of my love, or the subject, the person that I love, is no longer there. I don't know how to love them now because they're gone. And one of the great geniuses of God is that he allows us, he gives us the grace, the opportunity to pray for those whom we've lost. And that's All Souls Day. And we do it throughout the year, but on All Souls Day or on the Day of the Dead, we have the opportunity to, here's that picture, here's that photograph of them that reminds us of them, that we also can remember that actually our prayers matter. And the Day of the Dead just declares that. And it's such an important celebration, not only in the Universal Church, but also particularly at St. Anne's, that Juliana describes that in a pretty cool way in this clip.
We'll take a look.
Santa María, Madre de Dios, ruega por ellos. San Miguel, ruega por ellos. San Gabriel, ruega por ellos. Santos ángeles de Dios, ruega por ellos. San Pedro, San Pablo, ruega por ellos. San Andrés, ruega por ellos. San Juan, ruega por ellos. Santo Tomás, ruega por ellos. Santiago, ruega por ellos. San Felipe, ruega por ellos. San Bartolomé, ruega por ellos. San Mateo, ruega por ellos. San Simón, ruega por ellos. San Judas, ruega por ellos. San Matías, ruega por ellos. San Bernabé, ruega por ellos. San Lucas, ruega por ellos. San Marcos, ruega por ellos. San Esteban, ruega por ellos. San Lorenzo, ruega por ellos. San Vicente, ruega por ellos. San Fabián y Sebastián.
It's adorable.
It's adorable, and it's celebratory, and it is very special. And when you see like something like that in different cultures coming together for one celebration, that's remarkable.
Yeah,
it's remarkable.
It's so cool. And just, again, it is one more way that St. Anne's becomes that community hub, becomes that place where the community is able to come together, not just on a Sunday, although that's vitally important, but for community, I mean, for life and even afterlife on the Day of the Dead.
No doubt. Kevin?
I am just still touched. I've been, every time I talk to Juliana, I'm impressed by her, but I'm touched thinking back to her interview. Also, just the passion that she has for the place and the passion that whole community has. And wouldn't it just be a shame if it had to close?
Yeah.
I mean, we want to ensure that the Day of the Dead celebrations and the 80 weddings, and maybe it's 150 next year, but like that those just go on forever, because it means so much to that community. And the difference between that parish and some others is the congregation just doesn't have the financial resources on its own. And so they needed someone to stand with them. And we're trying to stand with them, not for them, not in place of them, stand with them. And I get excited every time I hear Juliana talk about what a special place it is.
Absolutely. And it is a special place for so many reasons, including the pastor of St. Anne. Father Mike, I know you got a chance to check in with Monsignor Chuck Kosanke. That was a pretty special conversation as well.
Oh, absolutely. He is a remarkable human being. I think that, again, I'm not trying to blow smoke here, but working with anybody involved with the Catholic Initiative is like, wow, you're amazing. You're an incredible human being, whether that be Juliana or Kevin or Nancy or Monsignor Chuck. He is just, and I this is my impression. So I had never been to Michigan until 2019, I think it was my first trip to Michigan. And ever since then, I've been to Michigan maybe once a month, once every 2 months. I don't know what it is about Michigan. It keeps drawing me away from my home state of Minnesota.
It's a great place, Father Mike. It's a great place.
Great place. But it seems like everyone I've met in Michigan knows Monsignor Chuck. Every priest knows him. He used to work at the seminary for a long time. So if you know Father Joe Krupp, who's just this incredible human being over there in Michigan. I think he's in Flint, Michigan. Monsignor Chuck was his professor of scripture. Monsignor Chuck leaves the seminary. The bishop asked him to leave to go to St. Anne's, and he takes over this parish that is thriving but falling apart. And he's like, you know what we're going to do? We're not going to let it die. And I just think this man is incredible. So I got a chance to sit down with him actually at St. John's Resort and have a conversation with Monsignor Chuck about his experience with St. Anne's, as well as what's really happening, not just on the surface, but also what's happening behind the scenes at St. Anne's.
We'll get a
when you got to St. Anne's about almost a decade ago, in those 10 years now, it's experienced a change. You said when you got there was some it wasn't as lively as it is right now. But what's happened since in the last decade since you've been the pastor of St. Anne's?
Well, I was fortunate to recruit a talented and effective staff, faith-filled staff, and we went about providing ministry and programs that attracted the Latino community, because we're about 80% Latino, and so that was one aspect. A second aspect was because of the beauty of the church, I kind of likened it to a Venus flytrap for young people. Because young people do appreciate beauty, and especially at their wedding. So we've gone from 26 weddings a year to 70 a year. And we don't want just to be a wedding venue. That's not what we're about. I wanted to do an outreach to what we call the nuns. The young people who perhaps were raised Catholic as kids, no longer practice, but all of a sudden now they want to get married. Fortunately, they want to get married in the Catholic Church, and they see St. Anne's as, of course, a beautiful place to get married. But they also have to go through our marriage preparation program, and that's where the evangelization and the Catholic formation takes place. And so, as a result of that two-pronged approach, if you will, the parish was about 515 families when I got there. Now we're around 800.
That's awesome.
We have about 1,000 people on a Sunday between our two masses. Now, a third factor I would add is the neighborhood itself. In May of 2018, Ford Motor Company bought the Michigan Central train station that was abandoned for decades. And really, poured in $1 billion into a neighborhood. Well, that's pretty significant
Yeah.
for a commercial purpose, of course. We're restoring a building to help people to get to heaven.
Yeah.
That's eternal, and that's going to last longer than any commercial enterprise in these other buildings.
How would you describe that partnership with St. Anne's and the Catholic Initiative? Like, how would you describe that? What is the partnership, or how did that? Not just how that came about when you talked to
Right.
Pulte, but and what's the arrangement?
Sure. There's three parts to it in a sense. The first part was actually purchasing the building property.
So Catholic Initiative purchased St. Anne's Basilica.
Right.
Yeah.
And Mark said something which rang true to me. My experience was that when I asked him why, his response was, because if I'm going to raise money for this, and significant money,
Yeah.
I have to ensure donors, investors, that their investment is protected and well managed. You know, the Catholic Initiative can go to prospective donors, investors, and say, you know, we can.
Yeah.
We can. We're not restoring the museum. We're restoring a strategic, iconic, historic church in a lively community. So again, now restoring the church as a museum, and that we are able to, in perpetuity, protect your investment. Well, I imagine someone who can give significant money, well, that's worthwhile. I want to
hear
support
that, yeah.
Yeah, I want to support the mission of the Catholic Church, but I want to do it, you know, in a way that's smart, in a way that really is long lasting. The second part, which was important in light of that, is the endowment.
Right.
Is part two, because what the endowment will do is to keep up the building property. Do two things: primarily keep up the building properties in perpetuity, so that a future pastor does not have to worry about raising money, or the original investors don't have to worry about the original investment going down the drain.
Right.
So that's important. And the second aspect of the endowment would be to support the ministry in some way, initiatives that go on at the parish there. The third part is really, shall we say, is strengthening and furthering the mission of the parish, and we're doing that in the form of considering the parish like a community hub.
Yeah.
That's, you know, really not only strengthens the spiritual and catechetical ministries, but also the corporal works of mercy in the area, which fits very well within the mission of the Pulte Family Charitable Foundation.
What an interesting guy too, and somebody that has so many ideas and really direct in the knowledge of the parish itself, the people, what he wants, what he needs, and what that entire community is about. It really is such a good advocate for St. Anne's, and that's a special conversation, Father Mike.
Oh, completely. He, as he said, when he got there, it was a very different parish. And it's not just Monsignor Chuck, it is the people that he's brought around him. And so, like, for example,
takes a village.
Juliana, Bob, who's I think our next video, and it's just like Monsignor Chuck has brought these people, and they're from the community, a lot of them, and they're like, no, you're finally giving me an opportunity to serve the community in a way that I'm just waiting for, and kind of like what we're talking with everybody here tonight. In that sense of we're listening to these stories. Like, you don't have to just listen to stories; you can be part of this story. You can be part of the story of St. Anne's, and that's a pretty amazing part of this night.
It is an incredible story of St. Anne's. And you mentioned bringing in Bob. We'll bring in Bob Wayner, a St. Anne's parishioner and historian, going to talk more about the history of St. Anne. We'll play that for you.
Gabriel Richard was the pastor of St. Anne Parish, and he was pastor in the previous church building, which was called the 1818 Stone Church, because it was the first one that wasn't made out of logs. This is the 8th St. Anne building. The stone church was the 7th one. In 1832, there was a cholera epidemic in Detroit. And Father Richard, being the leader he was in caring for the people so much, he organized a nursing corps to care for the sick, the dying, to counsel the families. Well, at the age of 65, he contracted cholera himself. And he was the last one to die of cholera during that epidemic. When he died, more people attended his funeral in the stone church than the actual population of the city at the time. Well, they buried him in the floor of his stone church as a sign of honor, respect, and love. When they moved here to this building in 1886, they gave him that same place of honor and respect, and he was buried right here in front of the main altar. In fact, on the step it says, "Beneath lies the body of Father Gabriel Richard." In 1976, St. Anne received a grant, and we renovated our chapel. And at that time, we made another tomb for Father Richard. It's actually a very nice tomb. It's above ground. The side of the tomb is glass. You can actually see the casket that's almost 200 years old. There are some other items here in this church building that they brought from the 1818 stone church. For example, those windows along the top of the ceiling on both sides were in the stone church. That is the oldest stained glass in Detroit. There's a St. Anne window above the main altar here in the middle. That was also in the stone church. Our sanctuary lamp with the red glass with the candle inside was in the stone church. The statue of St. Anne with her daughter, Blessed Mother, was in the stone church. This beautiful hand-carved wood altar rail was also in the stone church. And of course, Gabriel Richard's body is in our chapel, along with the altar that he used in the stone church. And these items really bring Father Richard close to us physically, because we think, wow, he said Mass in that altar. He distributed communion at this altar rail. He prayed in front of that statue of St. Anne. And it just makes him feel very, very close to us, and it's very special to all of us. If I hold this out, see, after the fire of 1805, people were going to leave Detroit because it was already a difficult life here. And after the fire in 1805 destroyed the whole city, the fort and the village inside the fort walls, people were going to leave. And Father Richard encouraged them, no, stay, let's rebuild. He got tents from the army. He got food. He went up and down with people in canoes up and down the river to get food from the ribbon farms that were here. And he actually convinced most people to stay. And so for that reason, they call Father Gabriel Richard the second founder of Detroit. This is the flag of Detroit, the city, and that is the city seal. And you can see there's the fire, and the one woman is counseling the other, but she's pointing over here where there is no fire. Those Latin words, if you translate them to English, it says, "We hope for better things. It will rise from the ashes." And now that is the motto of the city of Detroit. It's on the flag and the city seal. And around that size, it just shows the different countries that ruled Detroit. The French, the English, and of course the United States. We've started the Gabriel Richard Guild. The purpose of the Guild is to get his story out there. He's such a significant figure, not just Detroit history, but Michigan and the United States. And this is the first baby step, getting his story out there to maybe have him considered for canonization. This is a Michigan historical site. We have our historical site marker featuring Gabriel Richard, since his tomb now is in our current St. Anne building. And on the other side of this marker tells some of the history of St. Anne parish itself. This says this marks the original location of St. Anne Church within the walls of Fort Pontchartrain. Now the village inside the fort was called Detroit, The fort was called Pontchartrain, named after Cadillac's benefactor that paid for all his explorations. And the reason they built the fort here was because there used to be a bigger hill here, and you had a clear view of the river. So Cadillac figured if he built his fort up on this hill, he could aim his cannons at the river. So if anybody else tried to come and get in on the fur trade, he'd shoot them. So the first 6 St. Anne buildings were here. And Gabriel Richard would have been here as pastor, at least for the 6th one. Then after the Great Fire of 1805, they moved a few blocks away. We'll go see that in a minute. And that's where he built his stone church. It's got a picture of the original U of M building, University of Michigan. And this is what they named it. Cathalo Epistemiad. I think they made that up, but that's the University of Michigan. So Gabriel Richard was the vice president of U of M and one of the teachers. Well, when Gabriel Richard was elected to represent the Michigan Territory in Congress, one of the major accomplishments was getting a road built from Detroit all the way to Chicago, made out of thick wooden planks. Because before that, it was just dirt trails through the wilderness. So he got the federal government to fund that road. They called it Chicago Road. Goes all the way from here in downtown Detroit, all the way to Chicago. And you can still take this road, you can still drive it all the way to Chicago, although it's been paved over now. But quite an accomplishment for him. It just shows how he just thought way outside the box. He was way ahead of his time in a lot of his thinking.
There is still much more to that story that I could hear for days and days and days and days. That was incredible, gentlemen. And as we wrap up that portion of the show tonight, what St. Anne's means to the city of Detroit, the state of Michigan, and to Catholics all over the world is pretty special. And the Catholic Initiative has had such an incredible impact on keeping that legacy going as well.
Absolutely. Even in that, the patron being Father Gabriel Richard, being just like so influential, not just in the church, but in the state of Michigan and the development of our country. I had not known of him too much until I took a tour with Bob, and it was blew my mind.
I need one of those tours.
Yeah,
Kevin.
you know a lot more now.
I need one of those
I
tours.
learned a lot.
Arrange that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Giving Day for the Catholic Initiative, which is investing in vibrant but underserved faith communities all over the country. We encourage you to donate right now. You can text Restore 2025 to 53555 or right on the website, thecatholicinitiative.org. And I do have a couple of huge donations, very big gifts. Number one, a $25,000 gift given anonymously. Is that incredible or
amazing.
what? How about a $5,000 gift from Chris Moan? Wow. Thank you
Chris.
so much. Wow, Chris. And to the generous anonymous donor of $25,000, that is incredible.
Yeah, what an incredible night. Is there a chance, do we have the opportunity to take a quick look at like the total? Can we see the thermometer tonight, you think, Ryan?
Can we pop it up? Do we have the ability to pop up the thermometer on the screen of the donations tonight? That would be awesome to see. We will work on that.
I know the thermometer exists. I know that it's a real thing. Well, we do the math. We had that first $10,000 gift, $25,000, and then a $5,000. You guys know we can add up. That's at least
$40,000.
I'm looking at it on the website. The thermometer is on the website. We're almost at 49,000. So we're this close to 50, Ryan. I think you can get us there.
Absolutely. We will absolutely get there. There is a thermometer. We're going to get that thing all the way to the top with your help. Whatever donation you can give us, if it's $5, if it's $10, if it's $25, if it's $25,000, that money is being spent for a good cause. I also have a great giveaway tonight. We have several giveaways, but our first winner, one generous donor tonight, will be heading to the beautiful Mackinac Island for an unforgettable getaway at the Inn at Stonecliff. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the winner? Drum roll, please. The winner is Steve and Vicky Geske. How about it, Steve and Vicky Geske?
Congratulations. Awesome.
Inn at Stonecliff. You'll enjoy 3 complimentary nights at this newly restored luxury inn, and you can rest easy knowing that every stay there supports an incredible cause like the ones you're hearing about tonight. So, Steve and Vicky, you're heading up north.
Congratulations.
You're gonna love it.
we know that for Steve and Vicky, for all of us, the giving and the fun doesn't stop here, because we're thrilled right now to announce our second raffle giveaway of the night. So just like Stonecliff being one of those humanitarian hotels that the Pulte Family Charitable Foundation is supporting, this one is even closer to our hearts because it's closer to Detroit, because it's happening at the very place where the Catholic Initiative and the Pulte Family Charitable Foundation call home, which is none other than the St. John's Resort in Plymouth, Michigan. Ryan, would you be able to tell us a little bit about St. John's Resort?
Oh, absolutely. It is truly a gem. Once a 1940s seminary, St. John's Resort is where history, purpose, and hospitality converge to create unforgettable moments amidst iconic Romanesque architecture. More than just a luxury destination, it's a hotel with a heart. As one of the Pulte Family Charitable Foundation's humanitarian hotels. What does that mean? 100% of its profits support charitable causes locally and globally. Renowned for championship golf, extraordinary events, and exceptional stays, the resort blends timeless elegance with a mission to make a difference. Here is what the winner of this package will receive: a 2-night stay for 1 room at St. John's Resort, 2 rounds of 18 holes for 2 people at the Cardinal, the championship course that hosted the Live Golf Team Championship just a couple of months ago. Carts included, by the way, and $150 of dining credit usable at 5 Steakhouse, the Wine Grotto, or Doyle's Pub. Wow. Let's take a look at more. I just want to look at it.
Check it out. Look at St. John's.
The golf course doesn't quite look like that right now.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Because if you look out the window here, it is snowing like crazy. But Father Mike, you remember being here, and we had such a great time back there in August.
It's one of the those gifts where you're like, wow, to be connected with some people like Kevin, like the Pultes, like the people to go to St. John's Resort. It for me, the fact that it was a seminary at one point is so cool. The fact that it is still doing such good. Again, a hotel with a heart is more than cool. Also, when you go there, there's an active chapel that is beautiful. It's a place to pray. And for me, if I ever get the chance to stay there, it's one of those where I'm like, wow, this is an incredible gift. And also, for everyone listening tonight, every $25 you donate gets you 1 raffle ticket for this incredible getaway with transportation completely covered. And so you realize this, if you give a little more, your chances go up. For example, $25 gets you 1 entrance, $100 donation gets you 4 tickets, and a $250 donation gets you 10, and so on. So every gift tonight automatically enters you to win. It doesn't only make you eligible to win, but it also builds homes, builds schools, builds parishes that will stand for generations.
Really special there, Kevin.
And we talked earlier about at St. Anne's, we had to get Vatican approval. St. John's was actually our first foray into the Vatican approval process because the chapel that's there is still active. And And so to own that, what became St. John's Resort, that was our first time having to get Vatican approval. So we've done this a couple times now.
Done this before.
I love that. I love that. Kevin, let's move this forward now, and let's talk about the Joe, because this is one of the cornerstone projects of the Pulte Family Foundation as well.
Yeah, I thank you for giving me the chance to talk about it. And I know Rich McMenamin is going to join, and he speaks much more eloquently about the Joe. But the Joe is the Josephine Academy of the Sacred Heart in Chicago was our second project with the Catholic Initiative. And it's a slightly different flavor than St. Anne's. So the Joe is the oldest all-girls Catholic high school in Chicago. So in some ways, there's similarities because it's got great history. Like I said, oldest all-girls Catholic high school. It's vibrant. It has great outcomes for these young women that go to school there. And the mission has been strong for a while, but the foundation was cracking in the same way. And the security of that property and of its future was in question. And that's how we got connected to them. And when we looked at it and we said, wow, this is a place that over 90% of the young women that go there are girls of color. 35% of them come from families where the household income is lower than the cost to educate the student. I mean, it totally fits at the heart of our desire to focus on vibrant but under-resourced communities. But on top of that, it was having great outcomes. 91% of the girls go on to college, and depending on where you are, that may or may not sound like a great stat. That's 2 times what's peer set in terms of sending young women to college. So we looked at it and said, this, in the same way, this St. Anne's has to be able to thrive and survive going forward. A place like the Joe does, and it had a lot of long-term partners, long-term donors who wanted to continue to be part of the revitalization of this great school, and we were blessed to be given the opportunity to kind of step up and have a number of folks come alongside us to make that a reality.
What about you, Father Mike?
Yeah, no, it was, I got a chance to visit the Joe. That's actually when that might have been the first time I ever kind of sat down with the people at the heart of the Catholic Initiative. Yeah. And yeah, it was one of those places where you walk around and think, okay, not only, as Kevin said, is this one of the oldest Catholic girls' school in Chicago, but also, I think, Kevin, you had said, I had read somewhere that 98% had gone on to college. I'm not sure if that's not accurate. Maybe in the 91, 91%, which is just so powerful to realize you're making generational change, right? This isn't just kind of again, we talked with Nancy about Band-Aids. We talked about like just kind of patching up the cracks. And this is the opposite of that. This is where this investment in the Joe is an investment in generational change. And that's just, it's again, to see that and to realize there are people there who show up. I'm struck by this. There are people who teach at the Josephinum who are so generous. They give so much. And you realize they're making an impact in the lives of these young women. And you sometimes look at that and think, oh, I wish I could be part of that. I wish I could make an impact in the life of someone that will be a generational change. Tonight you can. Tonight, with this opportunity to have this night of giving, you can make an impact, maybe not the same impact as those teachers, but a significant impact just like those teachers.
The spirit at that school is just alive in it's infectious in everybody that you engage with, whether it's Rich, the president, whether it's the principal, whether it's the teachers, or especially the students. And I mean, we've all gone through school. They're not always excited to be at school. Every time I go to the Joe, the girls are excited. They may not always be excited about this particular class that they're going to, but they love being part of that community. And because of the students that are there, like you said, Father Mike, it just education is a generational change. And this is education of young women who are going to be able to make a better life for themselves and for their families. And for us, that's the heart of what we're trying to do with the Catholic Initiative.
This is Giving Day for the Catholic Initiative, which is investing in vibrant but under-resourced faith communities all over the country. And again, we encourage you to donate now. You can text RESTORE 2025 to 53555, or you could visit the website, thecatholicinitiative.org. Gentlemen, should we bring Rich into the conversation here?
That's a great idea.
Rich McMenamin, are you with us?
I am indeed, Ryan. Good to see you all, and so grateful to have the opportunity to join you and talk about the incredible work of the Pulte Family Foundation, the Catholic Initiative, and what we're all doing together. And welcome to all our guests dialing in to hear more of these stories. They're so moving. I'm sitting here getting choked up listening to you guys.
Well, tell us, walk us through where the Joe is today, Rich.
Well, so very quickly, Josephinum, which is a Latin word, means house of Joseph. So go figure, for an all-girls high school, how did we get that name? But we go back to 1890, and that's the way things rolled back then. So we've been on the same block in the city of Chicago since 1890. And we've gone through so many ups and downs that reflect really this vibrant, dynamic city of Chicago that we are. Today, given all the uncertainty of the last few years, whether we were going to survive or not, given the impact that COVID had, we attract students from all over the city of Chicago, 46 zip codes. It was very challenging. So we've dropped under 100 students, which we don't want to be, but we're going to rebuild dynamically. Our student, as Kevin or Father Mike said, we're about 95% of color. That is always changing. Sometimes the Puerto Rican community it has a strong presence. Right now, we're about 60% Latina, 30% African American, 10% Asian, and other. But it's a tremendously diverse community. Not everyone's Catholic. Typically, about 55, 60% are Catholic. We don't require that our students that attend Josephinum be Catholic, but we are an independent Catholic school. We embrace that. We're sponsored by the Religious of the Sacred Heart, a fabulous religious order. And our first goal of being a school is that we educate to an active belief in God. And so, we're welcoming our students in to this experience of what it's like to be loved and cherished and known by God in this community. And that's part of the secret sauce. I can go on for hours. I'm going to try and keep my answer short. What else can I address?
One of the things I will say, Ryan, everybody that's involved with the Catholic Initiative seems to be fairly long-winded because they're so excited about what they're doing.
That's what it's all about.
Chuck or Michael
Commonalities.
No, but this is what it's all about. This is exactly what this day is, because yes, we're here to raise money, and yes, we want to hear the stories, but to see the passion that everybody has for the work that they're doing, I think that is the part that really makes people want to give, that makes people want to be a part of. I've known Rich for about 5 minutes now, and I want to almost move to Chicago and be a part of what you're doing.
Well, Ryan, you can text RESTORE 2025 to 53555, and we can help Rich in his
Yes.
Take that paved over log road from Detroit to Chicago and come see us, Ryan. Listen, I got to say, I was working for a successful venture capital firm here in Chicago, living kind of a very comfortable Wall Street type life. And my wife, who had been a volunteer at Josephinum for many years and then an employee, she kind of encouraged me to get involved and engaged. And all of a sudden in 2020, as COVID hit, our president was on the way out, and someone needed to step in. As Nancy said, if not us, who? And so I answered that call. I said, look, I'll take a leave from my firm. I'll step in for a year. And, by the grace of God, I'm starting year 6. I love the mission. It's life-changing. So that's why I'm here, doing fabulous work with a fabulous community. As Father Mike was saying, this is life-changing, absolutely life-changing. It's not just life-changing for our students. We've had 8,000 donors over the past 40 years support our students. Every year, I get kids to come out of the bleacher when we have our opening assembly, and I have 8 stand on one side and 1 stand on my other side. And I explain to all the students, For every one of you over here, every individual student in this school, we have 8 donors that believe in you, love you, want to see you succeed, are willing to share their hard-earned resources to help you get ahead, to get a great education, to feel like you're important, you have incredible opportunity, endless gifts. Go do something with it. And that's what we've been doing for years. But we were desperate. We were, because we were going to lose the school building. And with that, the school was likely to close. And so thank God the Pulte Family Charitable Foundation stepped up and said, we'll stand with you. I love that phrase, Kevin, that I think you used before. We'll stand with you. And so this sense of accompaniment, of walking with us. And that's what all the listeners and viewers get to do. And Father Mike, you've said it so beautifully multiple times. You get to be part of our journey and join us. So again, my heart is so filled with gratitude for the hundreds and thousands of people that, you know, are joining us in one way or another, through prayer, through presence, through their ears, generosity of heart, etc.
It is incredible to hear that passion. And when somebody believes in you, somebody believes in what you're doing, it just makes it all the more wild that you want to continue that work and go harder. The Joe has been educating women for well over 100 years. So let's take a look at this rich history and legacy of excellence at this very special place.
In September of 1886, Mother Philomena Schmidt buried a small statue of St. Joseph in an empty field across the street from St. Aloysius Church. Her intention was to buy the property on Oakley Boulevard and build a school for girls that she would call St. Joseph's Academy. When the building opened to students in September 1890, a single Latin word, Josephinum, which roughly translates as the house of Joseph, was carved above the entrance. And generations of Josephinum students have passed down an affectionate nickname for the school, the Joe. The strong partnership between the Sisters of Christian Charity and the Society of the Sacred Heart lives on at Josephinum.
Josephinum has enhanced my confidence by showing me to never give up, to keep going, and to always be a girl without limits.
Josephinum made me who I am today. It made me stronger. It made me ready for college. Josephinum has been around for 135 years, and I'm very excited to be a part of the next 4 years.
Josephinum Academy, celebrating 135 years of excellence.
When we went over the 5 goals and we went over our founders and what they stood for, and the Sisters of Christian Charity and how they founded our school and their message, it kind of spoke to me because not only were they very intelligent, powerful women, but they had the entire course of society against them, and they still managed to complete their aspirations and their goals in the future. And I want to do the same. I feel like there's a place for me in law, and I want to take on that challenge. And I know I can't do it, so I will.
Josephinum has made an impact on the woman that I am today because we were very devout. We attended Mass and novenas and retreats and just were happy to follow the customs of Holy Thursday and talking about it in school the next week. It just enforced my belief in God.
Josephinum Academy made a huge impact on my life. Never thought I would be the person I was today. Never thought I would speak. Never thought I would talk to anyone at all. Now I'm being seen and I'm being heard, and I love that moment.
When I walked in here, I had the passion of being a surgeon, and that's not bad. Now I feel a little more open-minded about my career paths. I mean, I don't have to just be a surgeon. Maybe I could do something else that I find a passion in, because Josephinum has helped me find that passion.
Josephinum is a girl without limits. Every day I learn something new, and I always take it into my mind and say, like, okay, like Josephinum wants us to be like this. Well, I could make myself better by being like this as well.
Josephinum would be a great fit for students who struggle with self-confidence. Here, I'm more like outgoing. I speak a lot more, I read a lot more.
We should all just be sisters here. Together at Josephinum, we're all one.
The message is to develop strong females. We are the next generation, and we are the future. So it is our job to make it a positive one.
I mean, what more could you say about that place than what the students said about it right there? The impact. Wow. When you see that, Rich, when you see that video and you see the glee and the joy and the emotion, what does that mean to you?
Well, it's so impactful because a lot of our students come to us not always having been celebrated the way other communities are celebrated. I mean, the truth is the vast majority of our students at their lower end of the socioeconomic, right? So to walk into a school community and not have that immediate sense of, hey, I am somebody, I can do anything, et cetera, et cetera. There's this process that takes place. And to see that and to hear it consistently from our students, I was shy, I didn't feel confident, I didn't know what I could do. And you kind of heard some references to it in the video. You know, this growing sense of, no, I can do it. To see that, to witness it take place over a 4-year time at our high school, and then what the kids go on and do in college. And you've heard the statistics. I mean, literally, we're performing 100% better. Schools that look like us in terms of the same demographics, those kids are getting into school about 46, 48%. And Josephinum is 91%. And graduation in 6 years, the commonly used metric to gauge success, our students are graduating about 48%. And the national average for schools that look like us, 23%. So, for colleges, exactly. So we're preparing our students. They've got grit and determination, and they want to succeed. And so to take these students in and see their growth, not only in high school but then beyond, it's just moving, and that's where the passion comes from our Josephinum community.
So for all of our viewers right now and for all of the listeners who see that video, who hear that video, who see that passion, who hear that passion, you have a chance to help continue that mission. We are asking you to donate tonight. There are a couple of ways to do that. Number one, you can text the word RESTORE 2025, RESTORE 2025 to 53555, or you can go right to the website, thecatholicinitiative.org, and you can donate there as well. Kevin, Father Mike, if you have a thought on what you just saw and what you just heard from those students, terrific, tremendous.
Well, I would say this: it's what we've been talking about this whole night. This is place. Here's a location. Here's a school that is making an impact. It's not an abandoned school. It's not a school that is really struggling to educate and lift people up. They're doing it. They just need our help. And that's the part is like, while they're doing that work on the ground, that faith in action, here we can do our work where we are and keep them in business, keep the lights on, have that be an incredible place where those young women have their lives changed forever. We get to be part of that.
And Kevin, that's what you were talking about essentially right at the start of the show tonight. This is a place that is doing the work. They just need the help to continue to do the work.
Yeah, that's right. And I know we're going to hear from some more of the young women that are there. And it's so inspiring when you talk to these girls and you hear their background, you hear where the life that they live, but you hear that they come into the walls of this school and they feel a sense of belonging and they feel a community and they feel like they can be themselves and they can be the best version of themselves. And that's what education is for, and that's what it's supposed to be. And the fact that they get to show up to a Catholic school where God is at the forefront and they get to learn that's why this place is wrapping their arms around them. It's not just because it's a school, but it's a Catholic school. We need that. We need more of those. And so, it's an honor for us to be able to stand with Rich and with his team and with all those who have been a part of this journey with the Joe for so long.
And Kevin, you had mentioned the video. Let's take a deeper dive into that, we've invited a panel of students to share their experiences and discuss what inspires them to make them feel at home in this tight-knit community.
I learned as we sat down about what hearts in the chat. How did I?
Hearts in the chat. Hearts in the chat.
Hearts in the chat. Okay.
Close enough.
Give me another emoji that makes you feel how you feel about the Joe.
I would say if I could pick an emoji, you know, like the moon emoji, like the one with the smiley face.
It's like a moon, and it's like most awkward, and it's like kind of just sitting there.
It's like this, and I feel like I know that sounds like a weird emoji to use, but I feel like it's so like everyday, like kind of the aura at the school. It's just like when you walk in, it's so like quiet, and you're just like ready for the day. Like you're there and you're ready to learn, and you're talking to the same people, and the people like have something new to say. Even though we're at an all-girls school, we seem to always find something to talk about. So that's why I'd pick the moon emoji.
I would pick the side-eye emoji, but not because, like, that's not, when I say that, I don't mean it in a bad way. I mean, like, because you never know. Like, it's always something, not something bad going to happen, but it's always going to be something happening here.
I would probably pick the businesswoman emoji. I get a lot done here, which for me is, like, one of the highest compliments that I can give to anyone. So I'm able to be very productive here in ways that I would not be able to be productive other places. So businesswoman emoji.
Can you each tell me how you first learned about the Joe and why you decided to come here?
So at my old middle school, I was really like nervous about where I was going to go to high school. And then one day I walked into school and the front desk lady was like, "Jordan, I have a school for you." And I was like, "Okay, what is it?" And she was like, Josephina. She was like, "Go talk to your science teacher because she's an alumni." So I went to my science teacher and like she was telling me about her experiences with the Joe, and she told me that it would be a really good school for me. And so me and my parents looked into it, and like one random day at school, this person came to my school with like a letter and flowers from the principal, and then that's when I knew this is my school.
Just like Jenna, I was in 8th grade, and my administrative counselor, I think that's what it's called, she was helping me through it. And one of my teachers, she went here as well. And one day I was in the office with the counselor, and she walked in, and the list of high schools that I was gonna pick were on the screen, and she was like, why don't I see Josephina on that list? Why are you not thinking about going to Josephina? And I was like, because I hadn't heard anything about it. So she sat there for like 15 minutes telling me stories all about her experience here, and I was like, oh, that sounds kind of cool. And then I had put that on my list, and I signed it off or whatever, and then I got accepted. And both of those teachers, before I graduated, they started calling me Kyrie Joe because I decided to go here, and they still call me that to this day.
Now that you're here, what makes you feel comfortable about being here?
The people.
The people.
My friends are really supportive and like comforting, and I feel like, and it's not even just the friends in my circle, I feel like it's everyone. It's like a small school, but it's okay because everyone knows each other, and everyone just feels like they have a place and that they can belong somewhere.
Everyone here is just so accepting, and no matter who you are, where you come from, or where you're going, you have people here. And also, adding on, the teachers, so nice. I mean, they've definitely helped me find my place and have definitely shaped where I'm going to go next.
Do you guys have a teacher or a staff member or a counselor that's like really made an impact?
Definitely.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my God, absolutely.
Teachers who are funny.
Yeah. Yes. Will you tell me who that person is in the story?
If I had to pick one person to tell a story about, it's probably gonna be Mr. Lewis. He's a theology teacher here.
Oh my God.
And he's like
he's like everything in one.
Yes. He definitely makes some days like better in a way. Like we take a lot of notes in his class. Like that part, I don't know about that, but he like besides the notes, like he's definitely one of my favorite. Well, I don't have a favorite, but if I had to pick, it would probably be Mr. Lewis.
My favorite not favorite. I love all my teachers, but if there's one that made the biggest impact, it is definitely Mr. Karamansky. He teaches my Chicago history class, and I've been on our student government for 2 years. This is important. And last year, I had first year on any student government ever. I had genuinely no idea what I was doing. And I got assigned to be the point person for our annual haunted house. It wasn't our biggest project of the year, so I thought, yeah, I'll do this, I'll gain some experience. And oh my God, it changed me forever. I know that sounds stupid, but it did. Before that, I had average work ethic, but when I took on that haunted house, I just kind of went into overdrive. I had work ethic, I had dedication. I did better at pretty much everything I was trying to do.
All right, but it sounds like all of these teachers, whether they're a lot or just really good Chicago history teachers, they genuinely care about the girls that are here.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So tell me one more thing just about what it's like going to an all-girls school. None of you went to an all-girls school before this, right?
No.
So tell me why that has been a good experience to go to an all-girls school.
Oh my God, I love going to an all-girls school. I definitely feel like we need to decentralize boys from the high school experience because to me it's not a huge part of the high school experience. If I'm going to be honest, they kind of scare me a little, and so I'm definitely less afraid in here. Which means I can make my mark more, I can do more. And also, when I've found pretty consistently when boys aren't around, girls tend to be more welcoming, more friendly.
I definitely feel like coming to an all-girls school, there's a point where like you realize like you're in a space where like you can share anything. I feel like coming from a school that was like surrounded, like not surrounded, but mostly prioritized on boys, here you can focus on like what matters most to you as like a growing woman in a way.
Tell me about your future. I know you've got a sophomore, a couple of juniors. Surely you've thought a little bit about it. So how does the Joe preparing you for a future beyond these walls?
There were colleges that came in. Every table had like a different thing, and like after like learning about the tables or whatever, it was the regular school day, and I came back like knowing what I wanted to do. But like I want, like in the future personally, I want to be a pediatric nurse, and like I feel like I don't know how it connects, but the different things I learned here kind of like piece together, and it kind of adds up to what I want to be. It's not like I'm in a specific class where they talk about pediatric nursing, but it's like the stuff I learned kind of impacts it in a way.
My career path that I want to go to right now is HR, and I wouldn't have even considered that without the Joe. Like I said, with the haunted house and how it's made me the president now, a surprising amount of that correlates pretty well to HR. So if I can do this for the rest of my life, why wouldn't I want to? And I wouldn't have done that without the Joe.
I tend to stress out about my future career because I definitely have struggled like what I want to do, but I want to be a CRNA, that's a certified registered anesthesiast. So basically I decided to go in this career when I was in Mr. Lewis's class actually. I feel like here you get so many different perspectives on like jobs and like how they got to where they are, and I feel like I've looked over the past of like what I've done in my life leading up to this point, and I feel like being a CRNA I get to like help people.
You will learn more and more about different jobs, whether it's HR, whether it's other things. The more you know what makes you happy and what you like enjoy, what you enjoy doing on a day-to-day basis, and what you want to tell your kids and your family, this is what I do, the less stressful it will get. And the more you'll learn about something like HR and be like, oh, that actually sounds like the thing I want to spend my time doing. Because every one of the things you guys all said are jobs where you can really help people and make a difference in people's lives. And that's going to be a very fulfilling thing for all of you. Is there anything else that you guys, while you're on camera, want to make sure you say that I haven't asked you about?
If you are considering high school, come here. This is a good place for you.
I would just say if you're considering coming to the Joe, to like just be open-minded, be yourself, and be kind, because if you give out kind or positive energy to the students of the Joe, they will give it back to you.
It's a lie.
It's a lesson
Yeah.
for life.
I mean, people come sometimes for the history, but they stay for mass, or the other way around. They
Right.
come for mass and stay
Yeah.
for the history tour.
Hearing the booth
But yeah, it's
in there.
very alive, and
We like it. They're saying good stuff.
Yeah, they are saying good stuff. I think we got that right, but nonetheless, incredible perspective from the students there. And again, this is Giving Day for the Catholic Initiative, which is investing in the vibrant but underserved faith communities all over the country. And you just saw a video there of the Joe in Chicago, Illinois there. I'm sure a lot of Bears fans over there.
Yeah, go Bears.
Right, absolutely.
Go Lions. Sorry, I don't know what am I saying. What am I talking about? Hey, listen, that road between Detroit and Chicago, it exists.
And Vikings too. We love everybody.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, Rich, thank you so much. Do you have any words for us as we move on here with the Night of the Catholic Initiative?
Well, again, I'm just filled with gratitude to be a part of this wonderful Catholic initiative and connected now with the support and accompaniment of the Pulte Family Charitable Foundation. If I've got 1 minute, I want to tell one more story.
Sure.
In the original video that was shown about Josephina and some of our students, there was a young woman there. And I just wanted to share this. I mean, just an amazing story. So typical. A lot of our families are refugee families that come to the United States from Central America, South America, Africa, Asia. So this young woman was born in Eritrea, the Horn of Africa. And at a young age, six years old or so, civil war breaks out. She lived in a refugee camp for 6 years, sleeping on a mud floor. Somehow, I don't know fully, her family was lucky enough to move to Chicago. She lived in a Chicago neighborhood, got a scholarship to Josephinum, fabulous student, a smile that just launches people into a happy space because she's so positive. She worked like crazy. She got a full scholarship to the University of Illinois, our flagship university in Champaign-Urbana. She's a sophomore down there studying actuarial sciences and just still working so hard. And she's not an outlier. We have lots of students like this. Given a chance, given the investment, as Father Mike said, we're making it happen, but we do need help. And that's what this is all about. So again, my heart is filled with gratitude. I hope I haven't gone too long, but just so proud of our students, our school, our community, and grateful to all of you.
Well, Rich, before we want to leave you up on the screen too, because speaking of help, how about this? I'd like to announce a $20 gift from, a $20,000 gift. Forgive me. A $20,000 gift from John and Elizabeth Berg in honor of Norman and Barbara Berg. $20,000.
That's incredible. That's amazing.
The Catholic Initiative. How about that? Incredible. Rich McMenamin, thank you so much, and thank you for the work that you continue to do.
Thanks,
we
Ryan.
appreciate it, sir. Very much so. Absolutely. Kevin and Father Mike, $20,000 from John and Elizabeth Berg in honor of Norman and Barbara Berg. How about that for a gift?
I mean, that's the thing is, like, not only is are they saying, okay, here's the resources God has entrusted to me, I'm going to do something with that. But just imagine the lives that are going to be changed by their gift. Whether that gift is $25 that gets you into the raffle, or $20,000 that just, again, think of the human beings whose lives will be changed not only in this life but in eternity. That's incredible.
Remarkable. All right, as we continue on here for Giving Day for the Catholic Initiative, I have to ask you, Father Mike, I've seen you in the vest a million times, including tonight. So I want to know more about the Bulldog Catholic. What is Bulldog Catholic, Father Mike?
Thank you for asking, Ryan. So people at one point, I would say, hey, go to bulldogcatholic.org to find out more. And people would say, wait, so you're like, I like that. You're the Bulldog Catholics, like you're like the really tenacious Catholics, like Bulldogs. Like, no, I work on a university campus, and up here at the University of Minnesota Duluth, we are the Bulldogs. So that's our mascot. So because we're the Bulldogs here, our Newman Center is Bulldog Catholic. And so we're branded that way. We have a Bulldog Catholic stuff. Bulldogcatholic.org is our website. But it is the ministry that my bishop, 3 bishops ago, put me here on this campus 21 years ago. And so it has been the joy of my life to be able to serve the students here on the campus up at the University of Minnesota Duluth.
It's a mindset, it feels like, as well. How do you?
It's also a mindset. We're gonna put that on the other side of the
right, it's a mindset, Bulldog Catholic. How do you see it shaping the future of the church? Because it is all encompassing.
It really is. And so so I've been asked many times, Father, when you get moved someday, when you get to a parish someday, what are you going to miss the most? And I would say this, because I'm also the director of youth ministry for our diocese. And so that means that I work with middle schoolers through high school, now here to college. And I say this, when I work with middle schoolers and high schoolers, it's great because they're wide open, but they're also kind of fickle. It's going to be like really hot, really cold. In a parish, I worked in a parish for a couple of years. Great. So stable. And just so you can rely on people, but also not really open to like changing their lives. These 4 to 6 years, because, let's be honest, 4 to 6 years at the university is young people who are not only open, they're asking the question like, okay, what does God want from my life? But also when they set a course, when they lock on to the Lord Jesus, they're locked on and their lives are never the same. And we're going to have opportunity tonight. I don't know if you know this, but there are 2 guys in the living room right now who they're going to hop on the screen in a little bit to talk about their experience. But they're 2 examples of men who came to this university and their lives have been transformed by the ministry that we're doing here. Not that they were horrible beforehand. I'm not saying that at all. But they're like, what the heck? Are you kidding me? But it's the opportunity to say, okay, we've encountered Jesus in a way that I've never encountered him before. I'm going to live a life I've never lived before. And that we get to do that every single day.
Hey, Kevin, tie in for me where Bulldog Catholic meets the Catholic Initiative.
Well, we've talked throughout the night about the focus that we have on investing in faith communities and making sure that they're sustainable, forever, right? And so how does a community become sustainable forever? Well, there has to be a vibrancy to it and vibrant activity taking place. And you have to have active youth. And if you're Catholic, you know that there's no one better right now at cultivating a vibrant youth ministry than Father Mike Schmitz. And so it was a privilege for us to become partners with Bulldog Catholic. It was a privilege for us that he was willing, and he only has so much time, and it's increasingly less and less, that he was willing to give the gift of some of his time to us. We also have talked about wanting to invest in vibrant yet under-resourced places. If you've been to college, you know college kids don't exactly fill the coffers when you're passing around the basket. And so there's a lot of people that know of Father Mike, but his community right there in Minnesota Duluth, he doesn't have people immediately in that vicinity to turn to ensure that this youth ministry stays there forever. So that's where we felt like we could come help stand with him and help raise an endowment for the future of that ministry. And we want every project that we're working on to get a little of Father Mike's expertise on how you engage the next generation in the way that he does. And it's not just the next generation. Father Mike engages everybody, but he's quite good at that.
We know that the college kids don't exactly fill up the baskets in church, but they can donate their time, right?
Yes, that's right.
They can donate their time. And that's where you all come in who are watching or listening tonight. We encourage you to donate now. You could text the word RESTORE 2025 to 53555, or just go to the website, thecatholicinitiative.org. and you can donate that way as well. Father Mike, you've got a couple of students there. Let's bring them in. Why not?
Okay. They're gonna come sit here. I'm gonna maybe hover around here.
Sure.
So we got Jeff and Dominic, and they're gonna come on in. They're gonna scooch in here. I'll give them a spot, and you get to ask them whatever you want to ask them. I have not coached them on this. These are gonna be honest answers. They're gonna squeeze in here, and here I'm gonna maybe hover over their sides. Okay, this is Jeff right here. This is Dominic right here.
Hi guys.
Jeff and Dominic, first and foremost, how long have you been in that room with
You know, to be honest with you, I think it's been about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
What have you learned from Father Mike? And let's start there. What is his impact on you and that university, really?
Yeah. So I've kind of got a unique story because I just got received into the church this Easter Vigil. So I was a lifelong Lutheran coming into college and really just had a lot of questions. I got connected through discipleship through one of my best friends who is in the Focus program here. And so now got to ask some questions, go to OCIA and ask Father Mike all the questions there. So really, I've had a great impact there, a real like personal connection as you would with your priest at your home parish, and just like really life-changing journey over the 1.5-year conversion process for me.
And Dominic, for you, share your story. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Wow, it is quite the story. A little bit unconventional, but you know, that's how the Lord works. I'm actually not from Minnesota. I'm from a small town in New Hampshire called Claremont. So basically, I went to the University of New Hampshire for a year and was discerning what my major wanted to be and just trying to figure out, okay, like, who do I want to be in college? What do I want to grow into? And I ended up just having the absolute worst year of my life, to be honest with you guys. Just went through just a lot of hardship, a lot of adjustment. But what was very helpful was my school had a Catholic student organization. So I'd always go to that just Wednesday nights. So one time I went to one of the meetings and they were like, hey, we're going to go to this Catholic conference in January and it's called Seek. And I saw these lists of all these Catholic speakers. And I was like, I've been listening to these people since the 7th grade. It's like, I'm in, sign me up. So ended up going to the conference, had a really moving experience with God. And I happened to bump into somebody from University of Minnesota Duluth here who was telling me about the ministry at the school. And I just started to pray on it. I was like, God, like, if this is something you want me to do, I'm just going to open myself up to it. And long story short, I had a crazy conviction in Mass. And I heard God tell me the words University of Minnesota Duluth when thinking about how to discern what college to do, what to do in college and where I want to go. And I ended up bumping into Father Mike at the conference. And he just gave me really, really good discernment advice. He was like, come collect data, come visit the school. So 2 Aprils ago from now, me, my mom, and my sister flew out, and this was the place for me.
That is awesome. That is so inspiring. And to see the look on your faces right now, how the smile, the joy, the faith. I find that inspiring too for young people to be such a big part of moving this forward is remarkable. What has Bulldog Catholic meant to each of you? Jeff, we'll start with you.
Yeah. Bulldog Catholic has been a community first and foremost. I have my most virtuous friendships in college that I've formed and maintained through here. Even guys who have gone on and are now missionaries or in the professional workforce, I'm still regularly in contact with them, and just they genuinely care for me, and we have built that awesome friendship. And it's also a very active faith environment where I haven't had that experience elsewhere. You know, it's every day of the week and there's always something going on, adoration, mass, daily mass, or even just a Newman event. It's something to stay active, connected, and a little bit of rest and recovery from the hustle and bustle of college life.
Dominic?
Jeff, I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more.
Well, Dominic, let me ask you, what are, because I feel like there was a little bit of an exhale there. What are some of the biggest challenges to living your faith on a college campus? Because I'm sure there are challenges of that.
Wow, that is a pretty jam-packed question. I'll try to answer it the best as I can. I'd say the biggest challenges would be merging the Catholic faith and Catholic values with secular society. However, it's a challenge, but also a great opportunity to grow in the faith. And what I mean is just by coming to adoration, living a sacramental life here at the Newman Center, you go out into the world and you see in classes people with different views, different upbringings. And it almost seems that Christianity and the Catholic faith is old hat, but very much here with all the young people at Newman, it just really rejuvenates all of that. It's great to be young. It is great to be Catholic, and we are not going to tell you otherwise. So yeah, a really big challenge would to be reaching out to people and evangelizing. Okay, what is the faith? How do I bring the love God has given me to everybody I see walking in the hall? I would say the biggest opportunity that I've grown in personally is just simply striking up a conversation, really going down to the human level of, okay, this is somebody who's made in God's image and likeness, and so am I. And we're both undeserving, but deserving of the same grace. And just striking up a conversation, just understanding, like, say, hey, how are you? And be able to like build that heart-to-heart rapport with somebody. And I found that for myself. It reveals a lot about the person. And it also allows me to evangelize in subtle ways of, okay, here's where I've struggled with similar issues. And here's how I figured it out, which the answer is Jesus.
I'm sure both of you, being on a college campus in college, have thought about your futures.
Yes.
Have you imagined where you will be 10, 20 years down the road? How do you think Bulldog Catholic going to continue to shape the life of faith that you both have chosen? Jeff, we'll start with you. Sorry, wait, Jeff, you're getting all the first questions here. Dominic, maybe you lead us off here.
Oh, great. The one question I wanted to sit on and think.
I could feel it. That's why I came to you.
Yes. You read the room correctly. Oh, can you repeat the question? Maybe?
10 to 20 years from now.
Wow.
What's your future? Have you thought about it? I'm sure you've given it a little thought.
Yeah, I've only stayed up at night a few times thinking about it, you know? Wow. In terms of what I want to do, it's still a lot in discernment for me.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of how I want to go about it, is no matter what, if it's this time in my life in college, or I'm 30 years old with whatever vocation to 50 years old, I guess I want to remain childlike for all of my life.
Yeah.
I just had a great conversation with my mother the other day. I was telling her on the phone just some things like I'm going through at school. And I'm telling her, I'm like, Mom, I have just about a year left. I don't know what to do. I'm going to run out to the real world. And what she said was just so wise. Just something to be so grateful for parents. She was like, what's so good about a young tree is that it's bendable and malleable. But when a tree that is fully grown, the roots are sunk in its place, that is a lot harder to work with. And to answer your question in a different abstract kind of way, would it be, I would, no matter what I'm doing, I've seen what God has done for me here. I've seen what he's done for me, my heart, and I've grown in so many ways where I just want to remain childlike throughout the rest of my life and just have that obedience to the Father.
Dominic, I will tell you, I am 46 years old, and many around me say I, too, am childlike. So,
Nice.
Jeff,
There's a priest at home that told me the difference of men and boys is men's have bigger toys.
There you go. Amen to that. Jeff, talk to me 10 to 20 years from now and give you a final thought.
Yeah. I guess the quickest way to answer that is with faith first. I've seen both the fruits and just have come to know the truth of what God has called us to do. You know, he doesn't call us to be successful, but he does call us to be faithful. And that's something where it's just, hey, I'm going to lead with faith, regardless of the vocation that I may be called to, or, you know, what that'll be revealed to me, or just wherever life leads me. It just with faith first, and with that connection to Bulldog Catholic, because without the community here, without the administration here, I wouldn't be sitting here tonight, and I do not know what my faith life would look like otherwise.
You two are very inspirational young men, and we cannot thank you enough for joining us. Dominic and Jeff, thank you so much. And the way you continue to talk about Bulldog Catholic and live that Bulldog Catholic mentality and spirit is quite remarkable. Thank you, gentlemen, so much. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You got it. You got it.
Yes.
Brian, you asked earlier how like a Bulldog Catholic fits in. I mean, we want to ensure that there are as many Dominics and Jeffs on a college campus like Minnesota Duluth as you can get forever. I mean, the eloquence that those two young men just spoke about their faith and its impact, very different than I would have sounded at that same time in my life. But then how do we also help other places be able to cultivate and inspire their own versions of Dominic and Jeff? That's what this is all about for us.
Without question. And again, while we're all here, how about this? Giving Day for the Catholic Initiative. That's what we're doing right now, investing in vibrant but underserved faith communities all over the country. I would like to announce some more gifts to the Catholic Initiative. How about this one? Almost knocked me off my chair. $100,000.
Wow.
You're kidding.
From Jim Casey. Jim Casey has given a gift of $100,000.
Wow.
And a $25,000 donation from an anonymous donor. So we just saw the thermometer on the program on the show just now on the screen. Add $125,000 to that tally. That is incredible. Kevin, what does that mean to you?
Well, I think it means a lot to me that Jim Casey and whoever the other
anonymous
person was would hear what we're talking about tonight and believe enough in it to make a gift like that. And I think I just said we want to make sure that we can help ensure that there are more Dominics and Jeffs out there. I think you guys get credit for those two gifts. And
yeah, right. It came through when you guys tried.
That sort of money is going to go to the Dominics and Jeffs of the world, both at Bulldog Catholic. I'm not sure if those ones were allocated to a certain place or to the Catholic Initiative overall, but they will go to make a major difference in lives in the foundations of the places that we're supporting. So thank you from the bottom of our heart to Jim Casey and to whoever the other person was. Thank you.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. All right. We're going to continue on here because we've got a lot to get to in the next 30 minutes, and we're going to do that. It's an incredible night. And Father Mike and Dominic and Jeff, I know you're standing by. I'd like to announce the winner of the second giveaway. This is going to be the winner of the St. John's Resort raffle, and the winner is Everett Atwell. Everett Atwell, you have just won a trip to Plymouth, Michigan for 2 incredible nights at the newly transformed St. John's Resort, complete with golf, dinner at 5 Steakhouse, and a private chapel tour. So indeed, that is remarkable. Everett Atwell, fantastic. What a remarkable place. You are going to want to go back and continue to go back and continue to go back, because St. John's Resort in Plymouth is a gem, a jewel, any adjective you want to describe how fantastic that is. Father Mike, we've got some exciting things coming up next as well. Would you like to share that with us?
We do. I'm going to scooch these guys away. But I think these guys, I actually wanted to show you before we move on. You guys can scooch over.
Look at that, Kelly. That's Dominic and Jeff. Good job.
Fit in. So Dominic mentioned being childlike. This is Jeff's notebook.
Yoda.
But I said, Jeff, can I show this quick? But inside his Yoda notebook is Jeff is a prolific note taker when it comes to his prayer, when it comes to his big thoughts. And so I didn't peek inside there, I promise. But inside there is are just like so many really, really incredible. Just again, these men who again staying childlike in their hearts. They're asking the big questions, and their lives are being transformed. Speaking of lives being transformed, we have the opportunity right now to move forward. And one of the ways we get to move forward is we've traveled from Detroit, we've gone to Chicago, we've gone to Duluth. And what we've seen is the power of faith to rebuild and renew communities. So everyone joining us tonight, your generosity has been truly inspiring. And so I think you just had a number. The thermometer was just the updated thermometer was just on the screen. Is it possible we can take one more quick glance at that thermometer?
There it is. $193,000.
Almost $200,000.
Yes.
Almost $200,000. That's incredible.
Isn't that something?
It really is. So one here is kind of what's next, right? Ryan, when it comes to we have these 3 places, the Catholic Initiative. We have St. Anne's, we have the Joe, we have Bulldog Catholic. Real stories, mission in motion, faith in action. There's a new place, right? A kind of I would say this, a new project the Catholic Initiative is taking a look at. And Ryan, would you want to unpack this or should I?
If you tell me, I'll do whatever you want. I'll just defer to you.
Well, there's a place down in Florida, in Immokalee, Florida.
Yes,
which is it's called Monarcha Housing. It's an ideal place for families with children who have developmental disabilities. A pairing up of the humanitarian hotel and a place to be able to care for these families and care for these children with developmental disabilities that make this work possible. These are places where generosity turns into opportunity, where, as Nancy had said at the very beginning of this whole thing, where faith takes action. So another Legacy of Hope project. Monarcha, the ideal place, and the humanitarian hotels. This is where mission meets real life. Ryan?
It's pretty incredible too. And you talk about, where Monarcha is in Florida, to help us understand the real impact. Let's bring in Margarita. Is Margarita there? Because in Immokalee, 1 in 4 residents live below the poverty line. Median household income around $46,000. We're Collier County, nearly double that. Families have a median net worth of about $34,000 versus $500,000 for the rest of the country. 40% of its residents don't even have a high school diploma. Margarita, thank you so much for joining us. The Monarcha Housing Project. Tell us about what makes it different from just building apartments. Thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you so much for hosting me, Ryan and Father Mike, and for the opportunity to share more about our project. So what makes Monarcha different is really who is at the heart of this project, and it's families of Immokalee. So we know and understand that the families in Immokalee tend to be very large, and we wanted to not just build structures for them, but also provide them a pathway for sustainability and opportunity. So we're building 3 and 4 bedroom single-family homes for these families to avoid overcrowding conditions. And in addition to that, these homes will be for those families earning between 30 and 60% of the area's median income, which means that the families who are going to live in these communities are those families who are the backbone of our economy, who are working in agriculture, construction, the hotel industry, and all other service industries. So in addition to that, we're going to build a playground for the children and a 9,000 square foot community center where the families will have access to financial coaching, workshops, tutoring, and all the tools and resources they really need to be successful and create a brighter future. And so that's what makes Monarca different, is really we are providing these families with the tools they need to change their lives.
You talk about the overcrowding. We have visited trailers and learned that up to 18 unrelated people live together, including children. One resident even shared that they were 54 years old and had never had their own bed, Margarita. I'll speak for myself, when I hear things like that, my heart breaks.
Absolutely, Ryan. We had the opportunity to meet with these families and visit some of these trailers. And when the foundation learned about the need in this town, we couldn't look back, and we decided to invest all of our efforts and what we can do to help this community and take families like this lady from those circumstances and provide them with a dignified housing. These are working families who really are the backbone of everything that happens in our community, and they need our support. So we are so excited to be a part of this impactful project and help these families create a brighter future.
Is Yolanda with us, the director of Build a Better Life program at Monarca? Yolanda and Gloria, are they with us?
Good evening. Can you hear us?
Absolutely. Thank you all both so much for joining us. Can you walk us through the Build a Better Life program and what it does to offer families, I should say, beyond just a place to live?
Absolutely. So the Build a Better Life is Monarca's resident success framework. And as Margarita mentioned, before I came on board, she and other staff members spent a lot of time in Immokalee, getting to know the community, getting to know their needs, asking them, what would you like to see in a community? So this was built with community input, right? And not surprisingly, what they asked for is what research shows moves the needle, right? So as I share this framework with you, it makes me think of Nelson Mandela, right? And education is the most powerful weapon that you can use to change the world. So Build a Better Life is going to change the lives of these families that are going to live in Monarca, but not only their lives, the lives of generations to come, right? It's going to make a difference in their lives. So what is this Build a Better Life? Well, basically, it's based around 6 pillars. First, they're going to have, of course, the housing, which provides that stability. When you're moving them out of trailers into 3-4 bedroom home apartments where children have their own desks, where they can have their own bed, right? That's that foundation that they need. But then we're looking at providing financial stability. Some individuals have never had a checking account, or maybe they have a dream of buying a home and don't know about the credit system and how to build their credit. So that's where that pillar comes in of financial, providing workshops if individuals are interested in that. Next is nutrition and wellness. Immokalee has one of the highest rates of obesity and diabetes among children. So nutrition and wellness is important, whether that's offering cooking classes, whether it's fitness, whether it's walking, whatever it is that we can get in order to improve their lives in that area. The next one is pre-K through 12th grade education. And me coming from an education background knows that by 3rd grade level, if a child is not reading at grade level, they have a higher chance of ending up in the prison system. Mm-hmm. Right? So we'll be working with children, looking at where are they in terms of the reading and math levels, providing referrals if they're not in after-school programming. And if there's nothing available that they can take part of, we will be offering that in the community center that is going to be built right there in the community. But the education for the children is not the only thing that's needed. We all know when mommy and daddy have an education, their children have better success. So education for mommy and daddy is important as well. So we'll identify, what do they need? Do they need English classes? Margarita mentioned that 40% do not have a high school diploma. So do they need GED classes, that second chance of earning that high school diploma? Maybe they do have a high school diploma, but they're interested in advancing in their career. And they're tired of working in housekeeping or in agriculture. How do we get them into a trade, whether it's HVAC, or maybe they want to be a teacher, a policeman, etc.? We're not determining for them what they're going to do. They're going to let us know, and our job is to help them get there, right? Digital literacy. Nowadays, if you do not have digital literacy, it's basically you're illiterate, right? We need it for everything to function, whether it's to access doctors, medical appointments, finances, etc. And then finally, community engagement is critical. So as we continue to develop this programming, as our families move in, of course, we're going to have a resident council where the residents are going to provide input in terms of, is this what they're wanting? What changes do we want to make? And then also get them involved in creating opportunity for engagement and in getting everyone to come together as neighborhoods. So planning barbecues, right? Or some sort of La Virgen de Guadalupe is big in the Mexican culture, right? So making sure that we honor that day and have a celebration. So basically, those are the 6 pillars. So how are we going to accomplish this? We know we can't do it alone. So luckily, in Immokalee, there are a lot of community organizations that are doing great work in those areas. So we're going to partner up with them and work together. And sometimes that means that we'll refer our families to them. Sometimes they'll refer our people to us. But together, we're going to work to accomplish this. Along with me, eventually I'll have 2 resident navigators that will be working with the families. And think about it this way. Have you ever had a coach in your life, right? Someone that helped guide you? And I know, Father Mike, in many ways, you're a coach to those young individuals that you're working with, right?
Yeah.
So in that sense, we're going to function as a coach to help guide these families. Listen to them in terms of what their goals are. What are the barriers that they're facing? What are their aspirations, right? And help point them in that direction. And you know what? When they accomplish a goal, when they're successful in something, we're going to celebrate those successes. And then we're going to help them set a new target. And at the end of the day, or at the end of the year, at the end of whatever, the best day for us will be when that family moves out of our community. And not because they're being evicted, but because they're earning enough to be able to pay market rate rent or be able to achieve that American dream of owning a home, right?
Incredible.
So that's what Build a Better Life is for. And I'm so excited to take part in this project and make that a reality for the families of Immokalee.
Absolutely. And still time to donate. You could donate right now. Text Monarca to 53555. Monarca 53555. Gloria, let me ask you, the importance of the Pulte Family Charitable Foundation. What does that particular foundation mean to you personally and to Monarca as a whole?
Yes. Growing up as a child, having to move from home to home and living in very crowded spaces myself, growing up, it means so much that we have someone, organization that really cares. I think Father Mike will understand this quote. If you were where you were meant to be, you would set the world on fire.
Yes.
And I think the Pulte Foundation, Family Foundation, is doing this as we speak. to make this community vibrant, to give us hope. I wish I had had this opportunity when I was growing up. Who knows what I would have been doing today? But the opportunity is here now. And if not now, then when? So that is the impact that we are having right now with the Poti Charitable Foundation and Monarca. And I'm so excited to be part of this.
Hey, Margarita, give me a final thought on what success means to you. Where will you in this program be 10 years from now? What does it look like?
So for us, just like Yolanda said, success will be when we see the families that lived in Monarca moving on to own their first home or to afford market rate rents. Is seeing the children that grew up in Monarca going into college, graduating, thriving in their careers, in their family lives. Also seeing those families that started with very little now thriving in their financial conditions and being healthier and more confident. And ultimately for us, it will be important to see that other people see the impact of Monarca and try to replicate this model of partnering, of combining affordable housing with dignity, sustainability, and opportunity for these families so they can also create impact in their communities.
Thank you, ladies, so much for sharing your message and being with us tonight. Again, if you would like to donate, we encourage you to do that now. You can text Monarca to 53555. Thank you all very much. We really appreciate it. And oh my goodness.
Wow. Holy smokes. Wow.
Look at that. We have reached our goal. My goodness, Father Mike, it looks like we are well beyond our goal.
Wow.
I know I have a gift here of $100,000 from Andy and Andrea Miatis. $100,000 gift from them as well. Wow.
That is remarkable.
It truly is. And that is awesome.
Wow. And so, so timely in that sense of like here, not only have we heard from what's going on in Detroit and what's going on in Chicago, Duluth, here in Florida. I'm just remarkable that people are saying, like, hey, you touched my heart and I want to be a part of this story of what God is doing right now to these people. I mean, those three women who give and give alongside others who give and give, and just praise the Lord for this family. What's the name of the couple who just gave 100,000 again?
That was Andy and Andrea Miatis.
Andy and Andrea. Wow. That's just, again, this is your chance to be part of the story. And God is doing amazing things right now. And he wants to continue to do amazing things. I love that sense of being able to recognize God wants to do amazing things through me, whether that's $25 or this incredible gift by Andy and Andrea. Amazing.
Awesome stuff. Let me move this along because we're running out of show here. But across Florida, the need for housing for adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities is overwhelming. Nearly 500,000 people diagnosed with mild to profound IDD. Let's bring in Jeff Bookstein right now for more on this. Jeff, thank you so much for your time. Talk to us about Ideal Place and talk to us about the Catholic Initiative, help with your cause as well.
Sure. The Ideal Place is going to be Palm Beach County's first independent housing community for adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So that's an adult who may have autism, cerebral palsy, Williams syndrome, traumatic brain injury. The needs are incredibly staggering right now. 500,000 people in the state of Florida identify as having an intellectual and developmental disability. And the statistics we have coming right from the state, which is surely underreported, is that there are 20,000 adults waiting for a safe, affordable place to live. So with the Catholic Initiative and the Pulte Family Charitable Foundation aligned with this mission, it's just incredibly important that we build more housing for this population of adults here in Florida and beyond.
It is such a crucial part of our population. I mean, Jeff, and as we bring in Bonnie Schmidt as well, I can't even comprehend being in the position to have a family member, a loved one, somebody in need that needs a place to live, and there's not a bed, there's not a space for them. Bonnie, can you just share what inspired you to create Ideal Place?
Absolutely. Thank you. I am inspired by my daughter, Jessica, who is now 42 years old and has intellectual disabilities. But basically, she's like a child in so many ways and still needs all the support and care that she did when she was younger. She cannot be left alone. And so I worry about this problem her whole life, every single day. But more as we get older, as I get older, especially, I worry about her future. So I've been working towards this goal pretty much her whole life. And this is a dream come true, and prayers are answered thanks to the Pulte Family Charitable Foundation. This is an amazing opportunity for us to pave the way for other communities in this area.
And Jeff is the vice president of development at the Pulte Family Foundation. When you hear a mother, and what this means to her specifically, I know that makes me and you and everybody believe that you're on the right track here. You're doing the right things. You're
Well,
supporting
there's
the
no
right cause.
doubt. When we tour the campus, which is currently under construction, with families similar to Bonnie's and her partner, co-founder Denise, and her daughter Lexi, you realize immediately what this means, because the reality is, for any parent, when you put your head down on the pillow at night, your last thought typically is your children and what their needs are. And if that is, a toddler or a 35-year-old, and they're going to need care for the rest of your life, to know that they will be in a safe, inclusive, affordable home really allows that parent, that family, to have some peace of mind and a little bit of grace as they move forward and age themselves.
Absolutely. It's the hope and dream that many of us have thought about our whole life, because it is a small community and our kids need so much. We always say they're forever children, because that's really what they are, 24-hour support. And, as someone who now is 68, it's very scary to think what could happen. And we've lived through so many of our friends, getting sick or not being able.
We lost Bonnie.
I think we may have lost. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, Bonnie, it's interesting. It's just what you're doing is so powerful. One of my brothers, he and his wife have their daughter with intellectual and developmental disabilities, and the thing you just described about your experience of just always like, okay, how when I'm gone, how will your daughter be taken care of? This is the same for them and their daughter. Is every decision? It seems like every decision is, how can we take care of her now, so that, or what can we do now so that when we're gone, their thing is, her siblings will be in her life, her siblings will love her, but we don't want to, but there's other needs that her siblings won't be able to take care of. And what Ideal Place is doing is helping those families and giving them that peace of mind. Would you be able to give us a story, not only your own, but that shows that kind of transformation that you are envisioning with Ideal Place?
Absolutely. Not only am I mom to Jessica, but we have one young lady who's 39 years old, Kim, and her parents died 8 years ago.
Wow.
And she was actually at my house when her dad died. And they called me from the hospital and said, "What would you like to do with Kim?" And I had no idea at the time, but I couldn't let her just be taken away. So we've actually became her guardians. And she has been living with us for the last 8 years. So for her, this is life-saving, because she would have been put in a group home somewhere where there was a bed. It could have been 4 or 5 hours away, and would have ended up probably medicated. And now she's working at the Publix, which is the supermarket here, for 22 years. And she's living a wonderful life. Wow. And for Jessica, I don't have any other children, so I have nobody really to count on. And she has so many medical needs and so many needs of support that this is the only answer. And it's it's still hard to believe. I have a hard time every night even thinking that this is happening because it's a dream come true.
That's amazing.
Yes.
It truly is. And you know, Bonnie, we hear your story. I mean, for families of aging parents, what does Ideal Place provide that brings them peace of mind as well? I mean, the scope of residents there, I believe, are pretty vast.
Yes, I mean, we have thousands of people that are interested in this, and this particular one is 24 residents, so it's a start. And we plan on offering not only life skills support, because every single person needs the training and the community, and we want to partner with community partners so that we teach them cooking and finances and medication management. There's so many things throughout the day. And the goal is really to have Ideal Place be a social hub so that maybe not only the 24 that live there, but there's hundreds of others that we could partner with and make it a social hub. So we could have barbecues and dances and movie night and really bring the community together, which is so critical for this population.
Well, Bonnie, the work that you're doing gives me chills. It is tremendous. God bless you. And Jeff, thank you so much for what you do. It's truly a remarkable evening as we wrap up here on the Giving Day for the Catholic Initiative. I will make this announcement as well, that we are pleased to announce the last gift tonight is an anonymous donor. It is an endowment for you, Father Mike.
Wow.
From an anonymous donor for $100,000. How about that? $100,000, an endowment for you.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. Okay. Wow.
Can we pop up the thermometer now? How about that?
Wow. That is just,
oh my gosh.
That is
$398,000, 590. We had a goal of $250,000. We nearly doubled that. Close to $400,000, Father Mike.
That's remarkable. That's overwhelming. That just I need to buy those guys dinner.
It was all Dominic and Jeff.
Dominic and Jeff. I said, you guys can go. Don't worry about it. They would lose their minds if they knew this. You guys, I will be able to talk to our students tomorrow and tell them, you guys, last night, someone who remained anonymous said, we believe in what's happening. We believe, again, kind of like what Rich said about the girls at the Joe. And like, we believe in your future. We believe in you enough to be able to say, here's what we've worked for. Here's what we've accumulated. We want you to use this to grow. And wow, I just can't even begin. And this is what, here's a life that's just been changed right now, right here, right now.
There you go.
Praise the Lord. That's incredible.
Honestly, anybody and everybody who's been a part of tonight, even just me hearing these stories, how can you not be impacted by hearing the stories, hearing the causes? It makes me want to be better. It makes me want to go out there and help. And maybe there's people out there that can't donate money, but you can donate your time. You can get back into the church. And Father Mike, I know that is step one in so much of what we're trying to do moving forward here.
It is. I mean, to hear those stories, every person's story, from those great, cultivated videos we got to hear about St. Anne's and the Joe, to the two guys here, to our guests from Monarca, as well as Ideal Place, just to hear those stories and realize that in so many ways, there is the night right now where we're giving. At some point, someone needs to unlock the door tomorrow, right? And open that door and say, okay, school's open for the girls at the Joe. There's a place for you to sleep here if you're a family that has a special needs child. Like, to be able to realize that, yeah, someone needs to sweep the floor tomorrow, and that's what we have to give.
Father Mike, I've got about 2 minutes left here.
Okay,
I feel like this, no. I feel like this night wouldn't be complete if we didn't bring Kevin Doyle back up onto the screen as well for a final thought, because what the goal was and what was reached tonight, Kevin, just what does this mean to you and the foundation?
We've been talking for 3 hours, and I think I'm at a loss for words for maybe the first time. I'm immensely grateful for a whole number of people. Those that contributed to this thermometer that we're looking at on the screen, I'm obviously incredibly grateful for. Father Mike, I'm incredibly grateful for your partnership and for your willingness to do this over the last several hours to share some of the stories, and for bringing Dominic and Jeff on. And I think they get all the credit. And I've been up to Duluth and had the mac and cheese pizza at the movie theater.
Yes, mac and cheese pizza. I'll get it for him.
And I'm really thrilled. I was incredibly touched when I saw that gift was specifically directed towards you. I think that is so wonderful. And Ryan, I want to say thank you to you, because you have donated your talent over the course of this evening. And I don't know what that thermometer would look like if it was somebody other than Ryan emceeing the show here tonight, but it wouldn't be nearly that high. So thank you, Ryan, for doing this with us and sticking with us. And what an amazing evening.
And I think that is, I'm humbled by your words, Kevin. Thank you so much. I'm humbled by you as well, Father Mike. And I'm humbled whether you gave $5, 5,000, 100,000. We thank you for tonight. St. Anne's, the Joe, Bulldog, Monarca, and everybody that is helped by the Pulte Family Charitable Foundation. We thank you. Good night.
Good night. Thank you, everyone.
God bless.